Hello. We are ready. All right. Let's click that link. Let people know that I'm streaming. Hooray. Hooray. Shit. Let's take a look here. Add notifications. At everyone. Show has started. All right. Let's start my game. I just got off work. Just stopped working. I had to work a little late today. And honestly, I wanted to take a nap. But unfortunately, we're going to be running on fumes on this stream. Specifically, we're going to go to and just have some coffee, I suppose. And take any calls that come in. Let's play some Metro. Metro. Did I just say Metro? God, that tells you how tired I am. I was talking about not Metro. Stalker 2. We've been playing Stalker 2. That's what we've been playing. Where's Stalker 2? Stalker 2. All right. Game starting, guys. Let me get my notepad up here. Y'all wanted timestamps. So I'm going to give you timestamps. Just have it right here. Ooh, and then we got to make sure the volume mixer is good. Volume mixer. Right click volume mixer. Volume mixer. Where's Stalker 2 at? Where you at, Stalker? Play. Hit the play. We're playing Stalker. Hello? Is it going to do the thing? Do the thing. All right. I think that's looking good. That is very loud. Let's turn that down. Get it down to like 10, I suppose. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. We are taking calls. 202-998-5218. James Miller says first. Yes, you are first. Indeed. Give it some time. We should be getting a call shortly. Hopefully. Shortly. Let's take a look here. All right, it's compiling the shaders. This takes forever. This takes a while. Currently, all right, so my notes say prep, no debate. It's just prep. At least not yet. We're going to be waiting for the woke liberal. Show has started. See here, debatable liberal. Hold on. philosophy. Let's see. Politics, USA, asylum. There we go. Religion. Here we go. Okay. Okay, here we go. All right. Let's play this game. I gotta maximize that, make that bigger. There we go. All right. We are taking calls. You want to call in? You can. 202-998-5218. What was I playing? We were playing some Stalker 2 while we just chill out for a bit. Which direction do I go? I gotta go down. Is there a place to go down here, though? How do I go down? We already looted that. What's that? Just a little piece of trash. Just little. Oh, there's a door. But that's locked. So how do I open it? Use card? Do I not have a card? I have a key, not a card. Azimuth Station basement key. Maybe there's a card lying around here somewhere? Huh? Maybe? We are starting a little easy early. OS Int says second. Hello, welcome to the show. Welcome. We're just starting, so not a lot of commotion right now, but if you want to call in, now's a good time because there's nobody. There's probably nobody in line, so you can call in and debate the woke liberal. And if no one calls in to debate, well then fine. You just gotta watch, some Stalker 2 gameplay. There were some things that I wanted to talk about, but I kind of wanted to bring it up during the show. Jeez. I don't see the card. OSN says, let's get right to the point. What is your grounding for morality? My grounding for morality is entropy. I use entropy as my grounding. The empirical world, the Cartesian world we find ourselves in. And then incoming, you can't derive from an ought from an is. However, we derive oughts from ises all the time. It's just taken in a presumptive notion. Morality is subjective. Oop, I'm getting a phone call. It's my dad. Bulbro says, hey, I'm here. How you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Let me let my dad know that I'm streaming. Let's see here. Hold on. Okay. OSN says that is a very decadent mindset, my friend. Care to explain how free will exists if you have subjective morality? No, I don't believe free will exists. I think that free will is likely just our own illusion. However, at the same time, I just don't think that there's any... I don't think that we have a way to basically have all of the variables that would enable us to make the best possible decision. And so it doesn't make sense to apply a deterministic worldview given that we do not have all the facts. So I presume free will under the basis that we do not have all the facts. However, given if you had all of the facts, then it would lead to a very deterministic worldview. I hope that makes sense. So I do not believe that free will exists. And if you have a subjective morality, believe it or not, even religious people have subjective morality. That is true. Religious people do in fact have subjective morality, regardless of how they feel. And the reason why is because you'll often have Christians invoke an omnipresent deity as the objective grounding of morality. However, the only way that they can communicate with the objective deity is through themselves, their own mind, which is not perfect at all in interpreting things. So assuming you pray, you get different results depending on who you ask. And it is the same problem regarding the Bible. People will often ignore entire verses and, just presuppose their own mentality into it, which that also is in turn subjective. It's up to a person's interpretation to it. So that is the morality is subjective. Whether you're religious, not religious, it's subjective. Yep. Okay, I don't know where to go. I cannot find this card. Where is this card? I've been looking. Card? Ooh, health pack. We are taking calls. AWOL says, first, I'm warning you now, people are going to hop on the trans mentality today. I'm aware. I know what happened. I know. We'll go over it. Don't worry. We will go over it. Rain, why do you always say ew to me? Don't say that. You make me sad. You make me upsetty spaghetti. AWOL says, first, are you using prompts today? What? What? Do you not see me? You realize I'm playing this game, right? Like, do you you think that's a video? No, I'm playing the game. What do you mean? Using prompts? I'm playing a game. My goodness. We are taking calls. 202-988-5218. You want to call in? Come on down. Come debate the soy boy liberal. I'm right here. Soy boy, wokey, liberal. Come on. I know you want to do it. Arminius says, you think AI will take over gaming too? Let's be honest. Right now, there's already AI in gaming. Have you seen Flight Simulator? Like, they've used generative AI to make their landscapes and stuff. And honestly, you cannot possibly tell me that, what was that game? Starfield? You cannot tell me that text that they made for that game was not generated in AI. I don't believe you. I don't believe a human wrote that. I don't believe it. Let's see. AWOL Thoughts says, are you using prompts today? A question on the screen. No. James Miller says, are we talking about the trans shooter? Yeah, we can bring up the trans shooter if you want. You better come in prepared because I've done my homework. I did my homework. I sat there and I researched the dang thing for hours. You better have done your freaking homework and not gone on Twitter. Holy crap. But yeah. Arminius says Starfield was so boring. True. It was trash. No one liked it. Bad game. OSN says opinions on Nick Land's idea of an AI singularity that's going to be his worlds be brought on by a race war. What? What? That was like a lot of ideas thrown in at once. I don't know what you're talking about. But I'm concerned, man, about the AI stuff, man. No one knows how it works. But we're like rushing to the idea of like a super intelligence, and it's like, is there like a non-zero chance that this thing could like destroy us all? Like, I feel like we need to regulate it. Like, am I wrong about saying that? Like, I'm a little worried about it. I'm getting a little worried. Let's see. 1911 greater than all says, so let me guess. The trans got mad that someone called them out? No, it's much more sad than that, sadly. And it's not that simple. Let's see. AWOL says, well, our last debate, you told me that you haven't heard any trans people who made threat to others. So, I mean, there have been did I actually say that? I don't remember saying that. I'm sure, like, I was already aware that there was another, like, shooting regarding trans people. And like, that was before this latest one. And so I don't think I would have said that trans people don't hurt others. I mean, if you're talking like in general, yeah, trans people don't really hurt other people. AWOL says AI will definitely destroy us. Yeah, I mean, my concern is like the people who made AI, even they themselves don't know. They're just kind of like, yeah, there's like a 10% chance that it'll kill us all. I'm like, seems a little high, right? Like, like, isn't that a little high? Like, that's concerning. Like, the other trans person shooting up a church school. Yes, there was another one earlier. I was very sad to see that one. This current one, this newest one, I know a lot more about. Dude, where do I go? Where do I go? Where do I go? I don't know where to go. All right, let's just go back down. AWOL says, we were debating flags, and you know I wouldn't lie on your view. No, I mean, I think I recall saying trans people aren't violent, but I think it's fair to say trans people in general aren't violent. Like, if that makes any sense. I think it's possible for any group of people to be violent. I think what you're referring to, though, because I remember like our last conversation where referring to like violent people, like I think we were like talking about specifically the concept of like, let's say a trans flag. Like, a trans flag in and of itself is not violent, but like a Nazi flag is violent. I hope that makes sense. OSINT says, if you get destroyed by AI, you should natural selection. Well, if it's like our own design, like, is it natural selection for us to like, I don't know, release a ton of nuclear warheads that then like kills all of humanity? I mean, like, it'd be like, well, natural selection, you deserve to die. That doesn't seem right. Doesn't seem to be. One, it doesn't seem empathetic, nor does it seem logical. It seems kind of stupid, actually. Let's see here. AI isn't natural? Yo, true. Wait, true. Good point. It's only natural that we die by AI. That's wild. Guys, that's natural. That's normal. Does anybody want to call in? Nobody wants to call in? Is my thing working? Come on now. Yeah, it's working. You got to call in 202-998-5218. Otherwise, you're just going to watch me play Stalker. I've been playing Stalker, and I've been really enjoying myself. It's 6:25, so I think I'm going to start the show, or at least start the stage, rather. Advance. Let's see here. Start the show. Starting the event. All right. Let me just disconnect from Discord just in case. AWOL says, I'm calling in a second. Okay, all right. I know you always call. You always call, AWOL. You always call. And guess what? You will see timestamps. I'll make timestamps. I'll release the timestamps. You'll see it. You'll see them. You'll see the timestamps. Call it out. Call it out because I'm giving you the timestamps. Hold on a sec. Let me get into the show here. All right. Back to it. Or back to it. Go to channel. And then speak on stage. Oh, Superman. You don't know. Okay. All right. Rain, if you if you won't if you're stronger or bigger. That's why America still exists. I think you gotta hold on a sec. Hold on. So Rain says OS int. I'm confused. If you can get destroyed by another person, should you? Wouldn't that be natural selection? And then they said, you won't if you're stronger or bigger. I got news for you, man. If you got like a grandma, like an 80-year-old grandma with a gun, I promise you that natural selection will take hold. I don't care if you're a 350 pound, 6 foot of 8 man. You're going down. It's a gun. Reddit, OT Indian says, pathetic, weak, libtard. Bruh. Call in. Do you hate me that much? Am I really that bad of a person? I feel like you could just talk to me. You will find me. The phone number's right there. 202-998-5218. Call in. You want to have a discussion? Let's have the discussion. Come on. You could talk to the pathetic, weak libtard, right? Heck, we could talk about the trans shooter. We could talk about all sorts of stuff. What do you want? What do you want to talk about? I'm right here. I'm going to defend my position, and you got to defend your position. Leote Makhida says, what's the game? This is Stalker 2. Do you like it? It's a pretty cool looking game. Am I right? Pretty cool looking game. I love this game. It looks like I made to the other side of that fence. How about that? Stalker 2 is the game, says Bobro. Reddit OT Indian, are you that bad? Absolutely. Yeah, again, I mean, if you could just call in. I mean, you want to call in 202-998-5218. And then we'll have the discussion. If not, I'm just going to keep playing more Stalker. This game's excellent. So let's take a look here. We got man, we got bullets. Let's unload that. Take those bullets. That's worthless. We got some other people who joined the Discord audience. We're just kind of rolling in. We've already got 10 people at least. Ooh, what do we have? Whoop. Sorry, got to kill that guy. Is the game too loud? Is that too loud? That I don't like. The fact that he didn't die instantly from that very clear headshot is not a good sign. We are taking calls. 202 998-5218. Do you disagree with libtards? Well, I'm right here, man. I'll hear out your argument. I will. I'll be good to you. I'll hear out your argument. All right. there's a lot of people here. Oh, jeez. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. Nope, I'm not dead. We're good. Just keep playing games, not changing a damn thing, loser. Yeah, just call in, man. I will keep voting red. All right, loser. You call me the loser. I mean, you're the one commenting without even a profile picture. I mean, you could at least get yourself a profile picture. I mean, goodness gracious. Got him. Okay. Let's see here. What do we got? Right click on load. Give me that. Got a sausage. What do we got here? Shotgun. I need cover. I don't like that. I don't like that noise. I'm sorry, guys. This game is running at about 30 FPS, and it's not super great. It's only because this game's like really heavy on the graphics, and you know, and honestly, I kind of like the. I don't mind sacrificing a bit of FPS. That's why it seems like I'm a really bad shot. Let's see here. Leody Machida says play Tarkov. Let's see. We have bots this early? Oh my goodness. OSINT says, I've yet to hear someone win an argument against the doctrine of force. Oh God, you're talking about the Andrew Wilson argument. I mean, like, the problem with that argument is that it ultimately causes like a harm on a lot of people. I mean, you could sit there and argue like, oh, you know, force is necessary, or like, what is it, like the only reason why women have rights is because men allow it, like stupid crap like that. I mean, the reality is like, I can come to human reason that half the population should have basic human rights under the basis of that it causes untold death and suffering upon people who did not consent. It empirically makes life worse for a lot of people, and so I push against that concept. I hope that makes sense. There we go. Leody Makida. You know, a lot of people, they actually find my channel just because, like, I debated Andrew Wilson once. You got to pull yourself away from Andrew Wilson, man. He's unironic poison for your brain. I mean, he is empirically going to make your life a lot worse if societies followed what he argues. Your life would be much worse as a result. And I don't think many people realize that. They think that life would be better. And a lot of the times it's actually kind of sad, because there's like a lot of young kids where they're very impressionable, and they think that like force doctrine is a good idea because they've never read any actual like books regarding philosophy. They're just like listening to like edgy people who ultimately get a lot of attention by saying edgy stuff, right? It gets a lot of reaction out of people. And so I'm telling you right now, man, it really is poison for you. And if you disagree with that, right, I'm willing to talk to you about it. Just call the number 202-998-5218. The phone lines are open, so anybody can call in. I do want to hear out your position. Let me see here. So, Andrew Wilson basically just says men can destroy you if they wanted to, which is true, but it's highly unlikely given that not all men agree with each other. I completely agree with that. Let's see, 1911 greater than all. The only reason why people have a type of privilege or rights is under threat of force. Andrew would be correct. That is true, but I think that, like, again, I justified like the reasoning why people have a privilege or a right, and I believe it is through human reason. And I feel like I've substantiated that But yes, in order to defend those rights, you do need force, obviously. Let's see, Veljkovic. I'm so sorry, I'm butchering your name. Jovan says liberals are geeks. Hey man, phone number's right there. Call in. Why does everybody who like insults me, they're so cowardly that they can't just talk to me? Like, why can't you talk to me? Why can't you call in? Reddit of Indian says, my position is I'm currently satisfied with Trump being president and my privilege. So, well, authoritarianism it's not really a problem until they come after you. And it's only a matter of time before something like that will happen, or a loved one of yours. And I think you really need to make sure that you have a bit of empathy towards people. I think it's really important to consider that. Very, very important. Ooh, look, my camera's wiggling. You know what time that is? Whenever you see wiggle camera, there's only one reason you see wiggle camera. Wiggle camera only happens for one reason. It's kitty cat cam. It's time for kitty cat cam. Say hello to Pepper. Her name is Pepper. Hi, puppies. Hi, puppies. Say hello. Hello, everybody. Hi, Pepper. She just wants pets. We are taking calls. 202-998-5218. If you want to debate a soy boy liberal, I'm right here. I want to hear your position. Let's see here. Godspeed says most of them, especially the whatever girls, don't have the same philosophical or intellectual understanding that Andrew does, but Andrew himself is a midwit, so he's able to fool people one half, I would assume, half of the time. Let's see. Reddit Indian says they won't come after me. I'm white, straight, God-fearing, working class male. I'm the majority. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the problem, though, isn't it? Like, and are you only friends and family with people that also fill out those criteria? Do you have any retired people? Like, you realize it's only a matter of time before they go after one of your loved ones. Okay, Pepper. My goodness. We are taking calls, though. 202-998-5218. Pepper, stop. Why are you biting me? Okay, I'll leave you. I will leave you alone. You wanted me to be left alone. I'm leaving you alone. I'm sorry. Good gracious. It says only one is watching, but there are multiple people in chat. LOL. I have 12. It says 12 for me. I do have also it. By the way, we are taking calls. 202-998-5218. Pepper, why are you being a brat? What are you doing? Pepper! Bubbies! Ow. No. Psst, psst, psst. Ow. Oh my God, Pepper. Pepper, go. I'll touch her belly and make her go away. All right, we got Penguin who would like to chat. Come on up, Penguin.
What's up?
How you doing, Penguin?
Well, you know, but I'm also really high right now. But
Are you sure
I
you
mean, I
want to
guess
be debating
just,
while you're high?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just went and cleaned like half the house, so I'm ready to sit down.
Okay. What do you want to talk about, Penguin?
Well, I guess I wanted to ask you this because I was kind of curious, just given on how I've seen
Sorry,
you
my
interact with
cat.
people.
She's destroying my green screen. Pepper! No. No. Do not mess with... All right, sorry. Go ahead.
So, like, I have noticed that whenever I say something that's kind of fucked up, you don't give a shit. But whenever other people, like in regards to trans people specifically, when other people say something that's fucked up in regards to trans people, you're on them immediately. Why is that?
You're trans. Why would you be against your own self-interest?
I'm not, but why can't other people share in that humor?
What humor?
Well, I mean, I guess I should clarify, like in context of like humor, not like in like outright hate.
Yeah,
But
like
like
what,
I'm talking
that's why I'm asking. Like, what humor are you talking about?
like dark humor.
Okay, like
I don't
what?
know if I would say like I don't know. I would say like here. Let me find 1 second. Okay, so like in side chat, here's a really funny video.
Let's take a look.
It's a very funny meme.
All right, I'll download it real quick and then we'll watch it together.
Dad,
Is this appropriate for YouTube or?
Yeah, it should be.
Okay. So let me go ahead and try to get it up on VLC here.
I mean, it's like, I mean, I guess you could maybe say it's a transphobic meme, but it's not really like.
All right. So here we go. Here we go.
It's
So
it's more.
hold on. Let's just watch it. We'll watch it and we'll just see. Okay.
Dad, I'm so sorry. I was going to tell you. I just didn't know how to, You're not upset?
What? I was hoping for this.
Gotcha.
I was,
Gotcha.
I was given that meme by somebody who is cishet, so
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, like,
but, like,
okay, I mean, I don't find it particularly funny, but I mean, if you find it funny, that's up to you. I mean, me, I'm more sensitive about it, mostly because of, well, currently it's the way that people are treating trans people is getting worse and worse. And I think that the way that it starts is jokes, seemingly harmless jokes like this. That's exactly how it started. I mean, and I don't mean to compare it like apples to apples. I do believe that this is like an apples to oranges comparison. But I mean, when, the Nazi, prior to the Nazi purges, the first thing that started happening was making fun of the Jews. That was step one, and I think like we're at a sensitive time that I think it's not okay to be going around with these types of jokes, or at least to be like cognizant, I suppose, of like the implications of these said jokes. Does that make sense?
yeah. Although I mean, I think the Jewish comparison's a little bit of a stretch, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I did say that obviously this is apples to oranges. The level of suffering that Jewish people went through is far, far different from, what trans people are going through now. But with that being said, I mean, it did start with jokes.
But I mean, like, my thing with like, because I like that's fine if you don't want like that type of humor. That's understandable. But I will say too, like, I mean, people there's a lot of people that laugh at a lot of different things. I laugh at a lot of things that a lot of people probably would look at me and think, oh, you're like mentally ill or something,
Okay.
or you're fucked up. But like, I don't know. I'm very like jokes like that. I don't really mind.
Yeah.
It's more like
I mean, you've ever heard like and this is just like a classic, like this is just what you do. Like if you ever plan on like being like, if anybody is ever like a comedian, you always punch up, you never punch down. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Do you know, you've probably heard of that phrase before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that, you should consider that. Like when it comes to like, I don't know, targeting trans people with jokes, it's for me, it's certainly punching down. I don't find it that funny.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like, I mean, if you don't find it funny, like that's all you. I mean, that's your humor, I guess.
Yep.
But I don't know. I mean, honestly, I never used to be like, because I guess like.
Thank you
a
for
lot
the
of my
subscription.
humor-
Someone has just subscribed. Thank you very much for the subscription. I don't know why it plays the sounds twice, but it does. Anyway, go ahead. Continue. Sorry.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Did I ruin?
Yes, you did.
My
Amender,
apologies.
and I don't remember.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, cause like I mean like, I can understand, especially when it's given in the context of like, oh, you're using this as like a way to like beat down on like trans people or like ostracize them. But the one that like I showed you, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like that's more like that's one of those jokes where it's kind of like, yeah, the like the premise is kind of like offensive, but like how the joke goes isn't.
Mm-hmm.
So.
No, I mean, I get what you're saying. I mean, if you find it funny, I wouldn't get like too upset over it. There's much worse, instances where like there's just like blatant, just like overt, very overt transphobia, to the point where, it's like borderline violent.
Yeah, that okay. So yeah, like that is.
Especially nowadays, especially with the new shooting that occurred. I'm starting to see a lot of Catholics that are...
You have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I literally had to take a break from modern day debate because of what I was seeing. I was like, this can't go on.
I have gotten, so in the day so far, because I forgot this happened yesterday, I have gotten 6 DMs from people I don't even know on Instagram telling me to kill myself for being mentally ill.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Or along the line.
Yeah, do you see the problem? Why it's like we don't want to really be like propagating this any further than it already is.
Yeah, I just to me it's amazing. I saw a thing actually because so funnily enough, or well not well okay whatever. Anyway, yesterday I was on a police ride along, and well, the RPD cops were perfectly fine, I guess, with giving me information that hasn't been released to like news sources and stuff yet. Because I found out about the shooting like minutes after it happened, and I also found out about like because apparently like the protocol for like a lot of the police's understanding was that it was probably like it was going to be a mass terrorist attack against Christians, and so they were like they ordered them to like go around schools and churches and stuff to make their presence known. And
wait, what are you referring to? When was this?
Yesterday.
So yesterday there was I'm sorry, I missed who's going around schools and churches to make themselves known.
This is what the police told me. Okay, so they had mentioned like when I was just in the car, like as we were leaving, like to start, like as they were starting their day, right? One of the cops was like, "Oh, did you hear about that shooting?" And I'm like, "Huh?" and he tells me that there was like a shooting that occurred at that church, right? And he told me that like because of that they were ordered, like all the police in my city, they were ordered to make their presence known like around churches and schools because there was a concern with them that it might potentially be like a terrorist attack, attacking a church, and that there may be more coming.
Okay.
That's what they told me.
Gotcha. Well, I mean that's just being precautionary. I don't think that they're say for example, like I was like thinking to myself, oh my goodness, this is like very close to like rounding up trans people,
I doubt that would ever happen in my state, but nah, I mean honestly, that whole shooting is it's so fucked.
It's awful. I hope that we can move past it and establish empathy specifically towards trans people to assist with people's mental health issues. The other problem is that in general, like me personally,
wait, did you see the Twitter thing? Did you see the Twitter thing?
Well, no, I didn't see a Twitter thing. I saw the direct manifesto written in Cyrillic with. I actually am looking to get it actually translated from somebody.
Not, okay, so yeah, they've already done that. That's not. So it is Cyrillic, but it is like a
There's also the video of the actual like supplies that they had, as well as their goodbye letter to their parents, which I did watch.
No, I sent you the Twitter link. It has like all the info because this guy, I guess, vehemently hates.
I don't know. I don't know if that's.
Besides the point.
I can't trust Twitter because anybody can write whatever they want on Twitter.
Oh well, it's the same stuff. It's just video of the manifesto. It's all the stuff they uploaded on YouTube and like just some other like information about.
Gotcha.
Like the mother.
Yeah. The mother was in fact
that they identified as trans.
Yeah. So the mother was in fact accepting of their trans identity. Their family was accepting of their trans identity. But if you actually look at the video for the intro, like the first part, you find out that, you know, peppered throughout their you know, their artwork that was on their magazines, as well as the guns and the words that were put on. It's very, very like internet, like centric. Like take, for example, you would have like that wooden, you know, plank that had a smoke bomb attached to the end of it. It had like a troll face on it. Yeah. And then like on one of the guns, it had a, what was it? The Lost, the Lost meme, except it was just the lines for Lost. Which indicates, it indicates, well, yeah, I don't want to share it, unfortunately. I don't want to get my account flagged because sharing manifestos on any on any platform is a big no-no. So I will not be doing that. But I'm going to try to describe it as best as I can. But so what's crazy is that when you watch the video, you know, like I said, it has like the Lost comic, except it's like just the lines. Do you know what I'm talking about with the Lost comic?
No.
Okay, so here I'll show you. I can show you the Lost comic. Hold on. So this is what I mean. It's like super internet based, but give me a moment. Let me see if I can find a good picture to kind of illustrate what I'm talking about. All right, so copy image address.
Oh, so I just want to say about the Cyrillic. So this was something I noticed actually because I can read Cyrillic.
You can read Cyrillic?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. Like ever since I first met you, bro. I studied Russian in school.
That's crazy.
In high school with a Russian from Russia.
Give me a quick moment. I'm preparing what I'm trying to illustrate here. Give me a moment.
Oh, the dryer. Wait. Oh no.
Yeah, my roommate
is
doing.
No, sorry. No, sorry. The there was a video playing in my background. I thought you were playing that.
Hold on a sec.
No, but okay. So
hold on.
It's like 20 seconds, maybe.
Relax, chill.
I would have finished explaining it by now, and you're not even ready.
I am ready. Watch. Why is that small? Why is that small? Okay, there. All right, so this is the Lost comic. Okay, so for those that are not aware, this is a famous web comic that focuses on video games, and it's published by Tim Buckley. And in the Control-Alt-Delete comic, one of the things that had been like kind of getting on people's nerves regarding this comic is that it has increasingly not been video game related. And so this was kind of like a breaking point for Control-Alt-Delete, where there was a comic of his girlfriend miscarrying, and this was the comic that was released of the girlfriend miscarrying. And you know, it's very sad for Tim Buckley, but the entire internet just lambasted the heck out of this comic because it was like, dude, this is supposed to be about video games. Like, why? And it got so that people started posting derivatives of the Lost comic to reference the Lost comic. And so this is a perfect example of a derivative of the Lost comic. Mm-hmm. So do you see the... Anyway,
Yeah,
you would
I
only
understand.
know this if you're like on the internet 24/7. But basically, yeah. But basically, to kind of break it down, this was on one of their guns, right? I'm just trying to illustrate that the person, they were basically on the internet 24/7. They were 23 years old. They, they didn't have a job or anything. They just, were just on the internet constantly. And, and if you actually look at like the clips, for example, you'll have instances where it says, F Trump. And then it will have instances where it said F, and it had the S word, S slur regarding Mexicans, F, you can insert 5-letter word there or 4-letter word there.
Yes,
And then there was, what else? Saying 6 million was not enough. That was another example. And so here's what's wild, right? So I go on Twitter and I'm like, what are people talking about? I go on Twitter and I'm telling you, it is nothing. But you'll have right wingers who say, oh, they were trans. They hated religious people. They're trying to kill religious people because they're anti-trans. The left is trying to go after us, trying to incite flame, a hate war. But then you'll have the left responding with, well, look, see right here, it says F Trump and 6 million wasn't enough. And F the S words, regarding Mexicans. And I think there was also like another one that just said N word, and so here's the thing.
Fart N word, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
That was like an internet meme from I want to say the pandemic, I think.
Yes, and so I guess what I want to illustrate, right, is that number one, this person doesn't fit perfectly into a left-right paradigm. That's empirically the fact.
Yeah.
And then the
Can
next
I say
thing
my thing about the Cyrillic, I wasn't trying to get all this stuff.
Huh?
I wanted to say
Sure.
my thing about the Cyrillic.
Sure.
The Cyrillic, because I was gonna say so back to the Cyrillic thing, because I when I was looking at that manifesto, right, initially I was like, oh, it's Russian, but as I was reading it though, I was like, wait a minute, that's not actually Russian. That is like code written like English, just written in Cyrillic with like some. I mean, there's some phrases I'm
they
not
just
understanding.
phrased it probably in English, but using Cyrillic to.
It's just English written in Cyrillic. That's all
Got
it is.
it.
But I was reading
Got
it though, and I was reading some of these words though, and I was like, what the fuck, I hate. Oh, I hate Kaesler for joining arms against. I think they're trying to say Palestine. God, this video is so grainy.
So hold on. Can I?
The Jews are something.
Yeah.
The world.
Well, so here's the thing, right? Without us having to read the manifesto, and I'll be honest, I don't want to go over the manifesto specifically because me personally, I need it translated from somebody who understands fully Cyrillic, and I need to be 100% sure that what they're translating is correct, so that way I can come to like an accurate deliberation. I'm not mistrusting you. I'm being thorough about it. And then the next,
learn the Cyrillic alphabet. It's like one of the easiest alphabets to learn.
Yeah, fair enough. So the next thing is that I want to consider is like this person is clearly insane. Like this person is way out of their mind.
Oh yes, obviously.
And like right, left, whatever. They obviously have very significant mental health issues. The next thing is they had a lot of guns and a lot of bullets too. So much so to the point that I'm just like, do the parents not check their kids' room? Like, I get that they're 23, but like, why are they not checking the room and making sure that they're like, okay? Like, especially if you have like severe depression that this person had. So like step one, right? Step one is, if you want to stop stuff like this from happening, we need red flag laws. Red flag laws work. We know they work. We have them currently at a state by state level. And in those states, they have less shootings. However, there are other states where red flag laws are not the case. People cross states. They commit a lot of violent acts. We need federal red flag laws, things that we know work and that it actually leads to beneficial outcomes. That's step one. The next step is we have also completely defunded all mental health facilities in the United States. The mental health facilities have been replaced by prisons. Prisons are not mental health facilities. They are not equipped nor capable of handling people with mental health crisis. And I think people like this, right, where they're just perpetually internet bound and that they're, severely depressed and they could see life isn't getting better for them and they have access to a lot of guns. They're basically unchecked. They're sitting there on the internet in likely echo chambers. This is only going to get worse, where it's like you see instances like this and it's going to occur both on the right and on the left. And I think we really, really need to reconsider, like, okay, well, what do we do to stop it? And red flag laws and establishing mental health facilities is step one. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's 100% a social issue. I mean, I don't really think it's anything other than that, because it's not like people usually have the motivation to go and shoot people for like whatever purpose. And I just find it really despicable that a lot of like the right wing is just like treating this as like, oh well they were trans, there was something wrong with them.
It's horrendous.
And I don't know if you saw either, but there was like a thing that came in the news. Apparently, like Robin, there's a video somewhere apparently of Robin like saying something about like how they wish they weren't trans and that they were like they wish they were born as a girl.
That's like really common. That's really common.
They hate it. Yeah.
Called gender dysphoria.
Bro, you're speaking to the choir right
Sorry.
now.
Sorry.
but no.
I'm sorry. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to like the audience, the people who are listening to us right now. There are about 14 people who are listening, and then we have 4 others. So yeah, in the audience. So.
No, yeah, but there's a video. I'm trying to find it. But there was like a video apparently where they were saying that they didn't want to be trans, they wish they were born as a girl, yada yada. And the New York Post, I think it was like, oh, this is obviously proof that they're mentally ill and that they even knew. And I was like, damn, bro, like this is.
Well, they did have mental illness. Like they wrote over and over their severe depression.
Yeah, but they were specifically talking about it was because they were trans.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I mean, right? Where it comes down into like fear mongering, regarding trans people. And it's pretty bad, especially among like Christian nationalists.
What?
Like this is only
Jr. What the fuck?
What?
RFK Jr. is investigating if drugs taken to Robin Westman's transition played a role in the Minneapolis shooting.
Christ.
Oh my god, bro.
These people are
oh
awful.
my god. Oh fuck! I'm gonna post that one too. But yeah, there's the link I'm talking about. The other one.
That's just terrible.
That is actually fucked
yeah,
up.
no,
Oh
RFK is a moron. But anyway, beside that point, yeah, I mean, so what do you think? Would you be in favor of, say, red flag laws and then we reestablish mental health facilities?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really know much about red flag laws, but mental health stuff like support from the government, yes, absolutely.
Okay, so red flag law is basically like if you have like family or friends around you and they're concerned about your safety and you own guns, you can basically go to law enforcement and say, hey, I need you to take away this gun from this person. And if you have, if it's coming from a credible source and you have, evidence to back it up, they could just show up to your house and take your guns without warning. Like no warrant. They just show up, take the guns, walk away.
Okay, well, on one hand, I'm gonna say I think that probably would be an effective way of getting the weapons out of the hands of those people. But on the other hand, I could also see that being easily abused and misused by people in positions of power and influence.
So I agree with you. That's why I think it's like it should be
'Cause I can
evidence based.
easily-
And,
I
and
can
just so
easily
you're
see
aware,
that-
red flag laws are evidence based. You can't just have like a random person call to the police station and the police show up, take the guns away. That's not how that works. Also, you're misusing the entire system, which would put you in trouble. Does that make sense?
I've got a permit from Colonel.
Yeah, and I'll say too, like I think I could easily see Republicans spinning red flag laws on being like, oh well, we have a reason to take the guns away from mentally ill people, so we're gonna pass it specifically.
But
for them.
no, like unironically though, that's a good idea. Like I don't think, I think if you have severe depression, 100% we need to take away guns away from you. Like you should not have guns. If you have a diagnosed schizophrenia, once again, I don't believe you should own a gun. Period. I think you're a danger to other people. Like all you are is like a few pills away from potentially hurting somebody. Like it's not funny. And like we really need to reconsider how it is that we address the Second Amendment, and it just doesn't, it doesn't compute to me. What do you think?
And I'll say the last person that posted in your chat, by the way, AWOL thoughts, said that the thing about like, sorry, CBJ, what CBJ just said, I think I can kind of agree with that, honestly. I mean, it would be a matter of like even if you knew they had the guns, even because like I mean I own guns,
so
right?
you don't actually
I
need
say
to...
that I say that, right? I'm suicidal, but I don't. It's not like anybody else really knows that other than y'all. Me telling y'all right now.
Well, so just so you're aware,
Well, I guess my family too.
Yeah, so here, that's the thing, right? That's what red flag laws do. You don't have to register the gun at all. It is not necessary to have the knowledge of the gun. It's family and friends and other people who are closely tied to you. People talk to one another. And it's really common that a person who's mentally ill, they'll end up sharing it. There will be signs, and I do believe that if a person exhibits those signs, a person should be able to say, hey, this person has these guns, but there are current strict limitations depending on the state that you're in, as to whether or not that they could take away guns, even though that they are a clear danger. And we also know that red flag laws have been implemented in other states, and they work, and they are not abused.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm necessarily against it. I'm just worried about like people misusing it, like especially like right wingers.
I agree with you. That's why I think checks and balances are important. And we should implement efficacious red flag laws.
I've said this before, and I'm gonna say it again because it's true. I am a supporter of 2A. I have guns. If you try to take my guns, see what happens.
Well,
so
I mean, can I just be
I
honest with you?
I
like,
say that in the context. I say, hang on. I say that in the because like I understand that I'm suicidal and stuff. I say that in the context of like, people that like want to forcefully take the guns away from me just because I'm trans, right? Not because I'm suicidal or whatever.
Okay, well, I would say if I were you, like, and I was in your position, I would hand my gun to somebody else. Mm-hmm. Just for your own safety. I believe that.
I don't know. I mean,
I would.
The reason I mean, I guess I've never really thought about using those actually, if I'm gonna be honest.
So
really,
the thing is that when a person is like severely depressed, you're talking about a situation, and just so you're aware, I'm not a mental health professional. Definitely talk to your mental health professional, but I am not like, the thing is that one thing that I realized regarding having heavy depression is oftentimes it feels like a weight is on you and you can't do anything. That's a very common feeling. And sometimes it's just the ease of going through with it. And so by removing the ease of going through with it, that in itself can be a lifesaver. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry if
But
I'm potentially talking to, like, close to home or whatever. I
no, that's fine.
I don't mean to be
That's fine.
offensive or to.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. Today was like the first good day in probably like 4 weeks.
That's good. Yeah, no, I know you've been going through some
Yeah.
stuff. So, I mean, if you need it, like I had to take a break from Modern Day Debate, Discord for a little bit, because of like the very heavy anti-trans stuff. I was getting very upset with it. And I'll be honest, I just completely crashed out. I couldn't handle it. I was like, all right, I gotta step away, and sometimes it's good to just, kind of unwind and, have friends who love you around you,
You've got a decent shelf life. You can wait.
Yeah. Also, Bubble Guts, I'm talking exactly to people like you when I say when you try to take my guns, go ahead and try, see what happens.
Yeah. I just honestly though, for your own good, I would definitely give that gun to somebody that you
One
trust,
of your men?
just temporarily.
If it's all right.
But
know?
hunting season's coming up soon, Amender.
What?
Hunting season's coming up soon.
Okay. Well, yeah. I
For,
mean, when
like
it comes,
waterfowl
then
deer.
and you're feeling good, ask for the gun back.
I don't know. I mean,
Simple.
I feel like I think I'm making steps in the right direction as it stands, because
Okay.
like I'm in school. School just started for me right now, so
Yeah.
like I'm feeling that's been pretty nice so far.
Okay.
And also like what else? I mean, I've been losing weight these past like 4 weeks
Okay.
because I wanna get down to 170 pounds.
All right. Make it quick.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean,
Well,
no.
I trust you to make the right decision.
yeah.
I don't know.
You should probably let other people talk, because people in the side chat are tagging me saying that they want to talk, but you.
Yeah.
keep
I
talking
mean,
to
there's
me.
also, I mean, people also want to call in. So yeah, it was good talking to you.
Yeah, you too. You too.
Thank you, Penguin. And take care of
me off
yourself.
the
Okay.
stage.
I would
I can't
be
leave the
very
stage.
upset if you.
It won't let me leave the
if anything
stage.
bad
Somebody
happened.
kick
All
me.
right, I'll kick you. It's okay. I'll move you. All right. That was Penguin, everybody. All right. Let me just clear up my notes a little. Okie dokie. So we are taking calls. 202-998-5218. Come on and call in. I'm going to give it about 30 seconds, and if I get nothing, then we're gonna bring in landmine. So I'm gonna give it about 30 seconds, about a minute. Call in if you haven't called in. I do have preferential treatment to those that call as opposed to those that are on the Discord. So let's. I'll give it about 30 seconds. Give you all a chance to call in. We got a phone call. And if you can't hear it on the Discord, click my stream. You are on the line with First Amender. How you doing? Hello? You're on the line with First Amender. Can you hear me? I cannot hear them. Let me take a look at my microphone, make sure everything's going good. It looks like that we got the Shure MV7 is working just fine. And of course we have the speaker, which is my headset. And so I should be hearing them just fine. Are you there, person?
Hello?
Hello.
Hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
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 Hello, hello.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Okay. We're going to try that again. We're going to wait a little bit. We're going to give about 30 seconds to about a minute. And then we're going to try it one more time. Let me see here. Reddit of Indian says, heavy depression. Imagine that. Bubblegut says, what other rights should we take away from people before they break any laws? No, dude, again, like I said, I think that this is efficacious. It's logical. Okay, here's the phone call. Here we go. You're on the line with First Amender. How are you doing today?
That was me.
You're on the line with First Amender. Can you hear me? All right. Well, that's the second person where I can't hear them. or somehow they can't hear me. So I'm going to call in just to see if I can hear myself. I'm calling my own number. You're on the line. First Amender. It's working. It is working. You're on the line, First Amender. Is this the same person? Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello? What is going on? There's something going on with this guy's phone, guys. I just tested
Hello?
it myself. I know it works. Hello.
There might be a slight delay.
Okay.
Hello?
So no. For starters, you want to answer it on the phone, not on the stream. The stream is about 13-second delay.
I don't know if this is working.
It is working. There's something wrong with your setup. I'll let him catch up. I think he doesn't realize that he's supposed to answer the phone.
Wait, so what do I call on then?
With your phone.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
This is just a phone. All right. I'm gonna hang up. All right. We're gonna give it another 30 seconds, and we're gonna try it one more time. Carter Hull says, "I am on the call. What am I supposed to do?" Carter, so you call with your phone, and then you just dial in and mute the stream and just talk to me on the phone. It does work. Raiden Jack says, trans rights are human rights. There's no differentiating factor. You cannot take away trans or gay rights because they are already protected by the United States Constitution. Super based. Couldn't agree with you more. Okay, so we do have somebody who just... Oop, there's the phone number. All right, one more time. You're on the line with First Amender.
Hi. Yeah, I was watching people struggling. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just fine. How you doing?
Oh, good. Yeah. So they might have to pause their YouTube channel if it's on in the background.
Yes.
So that they can. Yeah. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
That's correct.
By the way, this is CBJ.
CBJ. Okay, so we got CBJ on the line.
Yeah.
What did you want to talk about?
I actually just kind of wanted to give them some insight on if they were having issues, if they had to pause YouTube to get in. So,
well, I mean,
yeah,
what's wild is they couldn't even hear me on the phone, which is, I mean, I'm assuming they're probably calling with like a Google line or something to hide their identity or whatever. I would just check your inputs, your outputs, and then you can just call me on the phone like normal, and you'd be good to go.
Right.
But I mean, obviously it's working, so it's not me.
Yeah, no, definitely not First Amender. So if you guys are doing something, that's on you guys. I just called, so it's working fine.
Yep. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about, or that's it?
Yes, I will be calling back in probably about 5 or 10 minutes.
Sounds good, CBJ.
All right.
All right. You have a great day.
You too.
All right. That was CBJ, everybody. Just confirming that it does indeed work. Okay, so since we already gave one call away and we tried it for a bit, I'm going to set it to away for a second, and we're going to invite Landmine, who has been patiently waiting in the Discord chat. So let's see here. We have Landmine, who would like to speak. Landmine, welcome to the chat. How are you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
What did you want to talk about, Landmine?
Yeah, I wanted to address with the thing that you said about mental illness and red flag laws.
Yes.
With the shooter.
Yes.
Those red flag laws are reliant on someone else doing the reporting, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So in this particular instance, that would have been the mother or
Yes.
brother, sister, but no one
Friend.
intervened.
Yeah, friend, mother,
Yeah.
brother, sister, anybody.
Yeah, but in this case, no one intervened. He had no history of mental illness that's been reported. He had no criminal history. He
Yeah.
purchased all three guns legally.
Hmm.
So what would have been a preventative measure in this instance?
So it's obvious to me that they did have severe depression. In my thoughts on that, I think that yes, absolutely, you need to use your better judgment and get the guns away from somebody like that. I believe that, and I even recommended that regarding the last caller that I had. I mean, is it possible that people make bad decisions as a result of like official recommendations? So here's what's kind of interesting is that normally when a government is making like an official recommendation, people they do, believe it or not, tend to follow those recommendations, despite like all the people that are like anti-government protesters or whatever. It is true that people do follow recommendations. Take for example, like they'll look at like the food pyramid, or they'll look at like the COVID vaccines. People do follow official recommendations from the government. And so if the government takes, for example, a stance that like, hey, if you feel that your son has, heavy depression and they have access to guns, ensure that you take precautionary measures, and then get them the help that they need, for example. And I think it's really, really important to emphasize that we have to take care of the mentally ill. Mentally ill is a fact of life for all people, for all of humanity. And I think it was like sometime in the 1980s where we decided to dismantle our mental health facilities, citing human rights violations. And maybe there's some semblance of truth in that. But we've basically just like passed on the good work that was being done there onto our prisons. And as a result, people just can kind of be mentally ill and not get the help that they desperately need to live a normal life. And they'll either be in prison or they just kind of walk around aimlessly, often homeless, living destitute lives. And I just don't, I think it's bad. I don't like to see what's happening to them. Does that make sense?
It does, but I think the core issue is the lack of accountability on behalf of, even going back to Columbine. If there's no one to intervene that with people that show signs of mental illness, suicidality, and all these things, and they do have access to weapons, there's really no preventative measures that I'm aware of.
So are you saying that we should do nothing?
No, I'm at a loss of what would actually be a solution.
Well, we
Well,
have
I
done.
mean, other than holding family members accountable,
Well, we have done.
and
Well, we have done red flag laws in other states. They do show a great deal of efficacy. Some specific red flag laws more efficacious than others. I think we just need to look at like empirically, okay, what red flag laws are actually effective, and can we implement those?
well, the study I read on red flag laws was mostly mostly had to do with suicides, not mass
Well,
shootings.
yeah, I mean that also matters, right?
Yeah, no, that definitely matters. But
You,
as
you
far
have to
as
understand it's a
preventing mass
multifaceted
shooting,
issue.
yeah, preventing mass shootings, it just seems like there's not a whole lot that can be done. I mean,
Well, I think if you emphasize mental health
that-
care, then that would
well,
give people the care that
this
they need.
this person wasn't engaged in mental health care,
That's
obviously.
that's correct. But they were mentally ill. A lot of the times people, they don't get mental health care because it's expensive. And it's like, if you want to save people and make people's lives better, there needs to be multifaceted approaches that are backed up through our health system, and establish a single payer health system where people don't actually have to pay for the care that they need. And it's wild because in, most European countries, they've actually already resolved this problem. Healthcare is relatively free in comparison to the United States, where we actually spend more per person in healthcare than any of these other countries. And we can observe, our health insurance companies skyrocket in terms of their stock values. And we could see the owners of these insurance companies effectively becoming billionaires or multimillionaires. It makes me go, okay, well, to me, it's obvious that we're making laws that specifically cater to a minority of people at the expense of people.
Well, there's crisis hotlines that anyone can call for free. I mean, he wrote in his diary that he's been suicidal for a long time. And, if it was a matter of money, he obviously had the means to afford all the guns that he purchased and ammunition that he purchased. So it seems to me that he made a conscious choice, instead of just treating himself, to commit this act of violence.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like, it would be reduced if there was ease of access to mental health care. Like, maybe it wouldn't have helped this particular person, but you have to understand that these moves, they happen way down the line. Many, many, many factors have to go wrong in order for this to happen. And it's a multifaceted approach, right? If there was, for example, in society, less transphobia, that may have had a factor. If this person had access to mental health care, then that may have been, or an ease of access to mental health care, that may have been a factor. Having loving friends and ever watchful family that will take care of them, that's also a factor. These are all factors that would have radically changed the outcome of what happened.
Well, can you comment on what do you think his motivation was for choosing the church that his mother used to work at?
I think it would be likely transphobia. Like, I'll just be honest with you. Like, it would not surprise me that they just don't like religious people because of the anti-trans movement, specifically, especially Catholics, that appears to be the case, specifically Eastern Catholic Orthodoxy. I'm sure that there's going to be people that will fight me against that and say that that's not the case. But I've talked with many Eastern Orthodox Catholics. They are none too friendly towards trans people, and so that would not surprise me that would be a motivating factor. I still need to read their manifesto. It was written in like an English Cyrillic. It's basically like Cyrillic alphabet, but it's done in English, like they're speaking in English. And so I need to find somebody who can read Cyrillic to help me out with that.
Well, I can send you the video of the letter that's just written in plain English to his family and friends, and
that one I already have. That one I already
watched there's
that
not
one.
a whole lot. There's not a whole lot to glean there, other than him basically saying it's not anyone else's fault. This is something that he just wanted to do.
Yeah, because of
He
mental
felt
health
like
problems.
he felt compelled to do.
Yeah.
So the manifesto might not really glean me anything more than that.
I don't know that there's actually 3 books regarding the manifesto, and they're all written in the same Cyrillic. I have it. I have the video, and it's something I have to review off of when I'm streaming, because obviously you can't be streaming manifestos and going over it. But I am genuinely interested in their motivations, and so I will be going over that.
Okay. Well, I'll let somebody else have the floor. I just hope that, this happens less and people get the help that they need.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
By the way, are you subscribed?
No.
Consider subscribing. I'm a really small YouTuber, so any amount counts.
Okay, will do.
Thank you. That was Landmine, ladies and gentlemen. We have... I'm going to go ahead and open the phones back up. And, looks like we got ourselves... The Chippa has just subscribed. Was that our caller? Maybe. All right, so I'm now currently active on the phone. I'm going to give it roughly about a minute or so, and then we're going to continue with the discussion. If we don't get anything, then we're going to go ahead and invite Cartero. And Cartero, if you're listening, you can call in right now, 202-998-5218. I will take you right away, provided you can beat the callers. And actually, you actually might have a chance in beating the other callers, considering that what you're hearing right now is roughly 12, 13 seconds ahead of people who are in right now. So call in, 202-998-5218. I do not know why it plays that sound twice, but it does. Anyway. And it doesn't sound like that we're getting anybody right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and once again put myself on Do Not Disturb mode. In 3, 2, 1. Oh, Carter Hughes says phone does not work. Let me try one more time. I'm going to test it one more time. 202-998-5218. We're going to just test it. You're on the line first emitter? Works fine. Anyway, you can call in. 202-998-5218. I am not on Do Not Disturb. It is working. I just tested it. I was on away, and now I am no longer away. So if you call back, it should work. Intangible Stud 59 says, I appreciate the live streamer's open platform for civil disruption. Props to him for that. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Miss Stridley says, a stupid person never thinks that they are wrong. There have been multiple times where I felt that I've wrong. I feel like Jovan Bradley cooked me. It looks like that I'm getting a call from some random user on Discord. I cannot actually join them on that because they need to either show up on the Discord. All right, so it doesn't look like anybody's calling. We're just going to go ahead and bring in Cartero. So I'm going to put on Do Not Disturb, and I will turn it back on in a moment. All right, Cartero, you're being invited to speak.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you. How you doing?
All right, brilliant. I was calling you earlier, and my phone did.
Yeah, well, I wonder why it wasn't working.
here
I mean,
now.
I was testing it myself. It was definitely working. What setup do you have?
man.
Is it like
No,
Google or?
No, I just have an iPhone, man.
Okay,
I
so
don't know.
odd.
No.
Anyway,
Actually, I think it might have been demons in my phone.
okay,
You know,
maybe.
I know you're a big time believer and all that stuff. Anyway, so is there like is this like an open forum kind of thing, or is everyone just talking about the like shooter?
No, you could talk about whatever you want. This is a debate, a woke liberal. And if there's anything that you disagree with on a woke with a woke liberal, you can bring it up to me. There's a very good chance that I likely believe whatever the thing that you're talking about. If you heard an actual woke liberal say it, I can give you my perspective on it if there's any differing, and then go from there.
So are you close to? I honestly just know you from the modern day debate stuff where you talk about like. So is it cool? Can we jump into that? That seems
sure.
To be your,
are you are you subscribed?
No, do I have to do that?
No, you don't have to. But man, I'm a small YouTuber,
Right,
so
cool.
I got to get my licks somehow. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, look. How about this? If you beat me, I'll subscribe to you. How about that? How does that sound?
Why? I mean, I don't think anybody genuinely admits if they've been beaten in a debate.
Look, you haven't met me, have you? Look,
Okay.
I
All right, go
love
ahead.
being wrong. Okay, if I'm wrong, I'll admit it right away. Anyway,
All right, go ahead.
so I heard earlier you were talking about this whole situation with the shooter, right? Which is kind of interesting. And you're talking about how we could potentially have red flag laws to confiscate firearms from people who are at risk from mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
So, would you agree with me that most of what we would call transgenders, like probably like 99%, have gender dysphoria, which would then qualify as a mental illness, or would you say that they are not?
No, it's probably closer to like 80%.
Okay, sure. I wasn't like citing a specific number. The crux of my point is just that for the majority, it would be a fundamental mental problem. That's the crux of my point, right? Like perhaps you have other people who are.
So
I mean,
So I want to
Yeah,
be clear,
go ahead.
right, that there was originally in the DSM-4 a thing called gender identity disorder, where it was the aspect of
Yeah.
wanting to identify as the opposite gender was considered the mental disorder. However, the problem is that the specific criteria that's listed in the DSM-5 for a mental disorder is that it has to have like a negative implication on their life that prevents them from living their life as they see fit. And so what happens with that is that they observed that there were in fact trans people that did not have the dysphoria that causes a person to have that severe negative mental anguish. Some people, in fact, didn't have it at all. And so what happened is that they basically removed the concept of gender identity disorder and instead replaced it with gender dysphoria. It is the negative feeling association of being trans. It's the negative feeling in and of itself, not being trans in and of itself. And that's why they changed the name of that. And so you should at least realize that, like, hey, not all trans people have gender dysphoria. Also, typically gender dysphoria is not something that causes people to like go on like murderous rampages. There's usually other things that cause that to happen.
Well, most people don't go under this.
Yeah.
So I can agree with you there. But so my point is would you say that for the other, you said 80%, so I guess for the other 20% who you wouldn't diagnose with gender dysphoria, would you say that they should have access to what you would call some kind of gender affirming care? Like, should they be receiving surgeries, hormones, etc.?
I think people
would someone
should.
within that 20% qualify?
Yeah, I think people should get the care that they need under the basis of what is medically
You
efficacious.
said that they wouldn't. Sorry to interrupt you, but you said those people wouldn't necessarily need it, right? Like it wouldn't be a dire mental situation for that 20%, right? So it wouldn't, like
Yes.
in this case, it wouldn't necessarily be something that those people would require, right? Like, isn't that the distinction
That's
between them and
correct.
the other 80%?
That's correct.
And it wouldn't really make sense to give that stuff to the other 20%, no?
Well, again, that I feel like that's a
They
decision
wouldn't need it.
that should happen between the person who is getting it or wants it and the healthcare provider.
Well, sure, but so would you say that you're in favor of some kind of funding or just a general ability to access these kinds of care? Like, should on some level, should someone pay for it in case you need it, instead of you having to pay out of pocket?
Yes, I believe that all care, all health care should be free.
Okay, so if all health care would be free, would that encompass elective things such as like, okay, I don't have any actual gender dysphoria, right? Like I'm not diagnosed or anything. I just kind of want to have some rockin' tits, right? Like, would that be then like subsidized by the government or something like that instead of me paying out of pocket?
I mean, I would probably like venture to say that maybe something like that is more cosmetic, and I wouldn't necessarily want something cosmetic to be covered by the government. That you likely ought to pay for that.
Sure.
Again, like I'm referring to like necessary medical care, right? And I believe that it ought to be free
So you would only-
under the
you would
basis
only
of
say
what
that
the
there should be-
hold on, under the basis of that the fact that we have already many countries that have already established this as a fundamental human right. And the thing is that here in the United States, we basically charge people. And honestly, at the same time, we have like the federal system, which actually costs more per person in healthcare than what it currently costs in most European countries, yet they have free healthcare. It makes me go, well, we're kind of the richest country on planet Earth. So it's really like a policy problem, not really does that make sense?
Okay, so, but it sounds like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but it sounds like when we're referring to cases where there isn't gender dysphoria, sounds like you're saying that that's more of a cosmetic procedure, and in such case that it shouldn't be subsidized, right?
Yeah,
So then would
sure.
you agree with me that we would need to delineate if we were to like fund this kind of thing, if we we're going to make the case that it's medically necessary, then wouldn't we need to have like solid evidence that a given person actually has dysphoria, as opposed to, just like less like more lenient requirements there?
Yes, so I believe that it ought be medically efficacious, which would follow the WPATH standards. And under the WPATH standards, they require a specialized psychiatrist. And it's not just like any psychiatrist, mind you. There has to be a specialized psychiatrist that is specifically designed to be able to diagnose trans individuals, especially trans youth. And then on the basis of evidence-based research, come to a delineation whether or not that they have gender dysphoria. If they have gender dysphoria, then maybe medication is required, and this would be specific for children.
Which criteria? Sorry to cut you off. But which criteria would the psychologist use?
The DSM-5.
And I know you probably don't have a full like.
No, it's full. It's the DSM-5.
But like no, sorry, I'm not talking about the DSM-5 doesn't have a full knowledge of it. I'm just talking about like, do you have a general idea of what the DSM-5 would recognize as symptoms?
I don't have it memorized off the top of my head, but I can certainly grab you the diagnostic criteria if that's what you're looking for.
Well, it's actually fine. This is actually fairly germane to my broader.
Let me see if I can
what
find
I would
it.
say,
Hold on.
Right, is that...
Do you want me to grab it? I mean,
okay,
I don't mind pulling it up.
I'm going to keep talking, okay? Look, so my broader point is that, like, diagnoses are pretty tricky, right? Like, a lot of people who will get diagnosed with something, they will be like it's not like it's not so much of like a binary, right? So like if you're comparing mental health to like a sickness, that's pretty binary, right? Like either I have freaking bleeding in some part of my body or I don't, right? But like when it comes to a mental illness, right, it's broadly a spectrum of traits, right? And so I think the issue with allowing a psychologist to do this kind of stuff is you're potentially going to prescribe something which can have some pretty significant side effects to traits that can just overlap with the common population and do pretty frequently. Like I feel like, I'm not sure if you agree with me on this, but I feel like everyone has experienced some form of like insecurity, right? Like be it in puberty or whatever. Like, I would never say I have that condition, but there have been moments where I've been curious about the female experience or something like that, And so I guess I'm worried that if you give the psychologist license to do something like that and they're specialized to kind of look for those traits, they might diagnose it in cases where there aren't, and I think it's kind of
I agree. This is why it's really important for the psychiatrist, not a psychologist, a psychiatrist, to be specially trained to be able to address exactly what you're talking about. Because yes, I agree that it is that it could have potential drawbacks if it's done incorrectly or if it's done by mistake. I think it's very important that we operate on very well evidence-based care and something on the basis of that they are properly trained and that they're not like undertrained as a psychiatrist. This is a very specialized field of endocrinology as well as psychiatry, and you need to be aware of the mechanisms involved with that. So I did actually pull up the diagnostic criteria in children. So I'm going to go ahead and provide that for you right now. Hang tight.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is the diagnostic criteria. And for those who are not aware what this is, This is not a nothing book. This is the diagnostic criteria for all mental disorders across pretty much the entire world when it comes to trying to diagnose mental disorders. And mind you, I just want to be clear that gender dysphoria is not by any means being trans. It is the negative association that is being felt from being the opposite sex of your gender. Not every trans person has this. So with that being known, we're going to go to the gender dysphoria specifically in children. This is the diagnostic criteria that is required in order to be this. So, a marked incongruence between one's experience or expressed gender and assigned gender of at least 6 months duration as manifested by at least 6 of the following, one of which must be criterion A1. So the first thing is that A1 must be met, okay? If it is not met, they do not have gender dysphoria. This is a strong desire to be of the other gender or an insistence that one's gender is the other gender or some alternative gender different from one's assigned gender. Okay. So now so step one is A1 must be met. If A1 is not met, it's all automatic fail.
Okay, can we talk about A1 for a second?
Go ahead.
I mean, but isn't there an issue with part of the standard being someone wanting to?
Yes.
Are you
Well, this is why it's
transgenders or something like that?
Yeah, so for starters, this is specifically the criteria for children. And this is just starting with A1. You also need to have 6 of the following criteria out of 8 of these. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to present to you the other.
I just have one contention with it though, which is that why would it be relevant what the child would necessarily want?
Yeah. So
we agree that they wouldn't necessarily have the knowledge.
Yeah. Again, we're referring to the DSM. We're referring to the DSM-5 TR, which is very, very strict, standardized, evidence-based care under the basis of the contribution of thousands of doctorate-level psychiatrists that are at the top of their field.
I know that
it's all evidence-based. The reason why that they're providing these criteria is as a guide for anybody who is not as read, but also possesses their PhD. So the A1 is required. I do want to read the other ones, and then we'll go back to your discussion here. So
why would that be a necessary requirement? Could there be someone who is?
Yes, I'm just explaining that it is on the basis of evidence-based care. I mean, we would have to go through the individual studies to pull this up, but let's be honest, we're really not equipped to be able to handle that. So I do want to continue with the rest of the criteria. So specifically in boys, assigned gender. In boys, assigned gender, a strong preference for cross-dressing and simulating female attires, or in girls, assigned gender, a strong preference for wearing a typical masculine clothing and a strong resistance to the typical feminine clothing. Number 3, a strong preference for cross-gender roles which make-believe play or fantasy play. 4, a strong preference for the toys, games, or activities stereotypically used or engaged in by the other gender. 5, a strong preference for playmates of the other gender. 6, in boys, assigned gender, a strong rejection of typically masculine toys, games, and activities, and a strong avoidance of rough and tumble play, or in girls, a strong rejection of typically feminine toys, games, or activities. Number 7 is a strong dislike of one's sexual anatomy, and 8 is a strong desire for the primary and or secondary sex characteristics that matched with one's experienced gender. And then B, it says the condition is associated with clinically significant distress or impairment in social, school, or other important areas of functioning. So again, B, this is another instance. This is absolutely required. You do not have gender dysphoria unless if you have this. And this is what I was talking about regarding the difference between having gender dysphoria and being trans. So specify if with a disorder or difference of sex development, e.g. a congenital androgenital disorder such as E25.0, congenital adrenal hyperplasia, or androgen insensitivity syndrome. These are typical intersex conditions that are actually, they're often results of exactly these types of feelings that people have. A lot of this stuff is actually hormonally determined. And then the coding note states, code the disorder difference of sex development as well as gender dysphoria. So this is specifically among children in what causes a person to be transgender as a child. I hope it makes sense.
Right. So, no, I hear what you're saying. So I think I would agree with you that this is a real condition that exists, right? Like you'll have some boys who act in a more feminine way and might be more comfortable with that, or insecure in their boyhood, or vice versa. I guess I would just disagree with the prescription. And if you want to talk about research on that, we can agree. Like, look, for the sake of this argument, I can totally grant that we have studied and found out that things like puberty blockers are great for these people.
You're breaking up.
But I think my issue would be, am I? Sorry. Do I sound good now? Pardon.
I think so, yeah.
Testing,
I mean,
1, 2, 3.
you've been a little crackly this whole time,
Sorry
but I've
about
been
that.
kind of ignoring it.
Yeah, sorry about that. I got like the fan going in here, stuff like that. Anyway, so I hope my audio quality isn't too horrendous, but
horrible,
let me try to
but
get this point out.
It's not great either. So, but anyway, go ahead and continue.
Well, sorry about that. Anyway, so let's say you have someone with gender dysphoria, and let's say that one potential pathway would be something like a medical transition or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. And let's say we have evidence that says that could help reduce certain negative mental health outcomes. My issue or contention would come from other potential paths of dealing with it haven't been sufficiently studied. So I'm a business major, right? And the way that we kind of analyze things is in terms of opportunity costs, right? So there might be one option that seems pretty great, but you have to kind of compare it to the plethora of options that exist out there. And I think the issue with the way that the expert consensus operates here only really looked into one solution, whereas I feel that I think there's a lot of different ways you could deal with it. I don't think we have a good body of research that really talks about what would happen if, for instance, and I'm just throwing something out here as an example, what if you took some little boy who's struggling with maybe a more feminine nature, and what if instead of giving you cross-sex hormones, you would actually give him same-sex hormones, something like testosterone or something? Is it possible that would make him be more secure in a masculine identity? Maybe. We haven't really tested it, right?
No, so we have.
That's my bigger contention.
We have.
What's the meta-analysis on that?
Yeah, so I don't know if there's a meta-analysis in particular, but we have checked this. So what happens is that there are people that have hormonal differences in their body that occurs as early as at a very young age, right? And a lot of the times, in order to kind of fit into into the binary view of sex, they will usually apply feminizing or masculinizing hormones in order to address that. But again, it does come down to internally, how does that person feel and how does that exhibit itself externally in the child? And so,
hold on. Why would it come down to that?
Well,
why would it come down to?
Well, because you can't necessarily. Well, you can't necessarily measure their exact hormone balances that is happening in their brain without a very invasive procedure or an MRI scan. Whereas simply asking questions, it's kind of like, can we exhibit in an MRI that somebody has PTSD? Yes, that's possible. It is possible through brain scanning as well to determine if somebody has PTSD through the specific wave pattern. MRIs are non-invasive, but they're not exactly super great either. They're pretty horrendous to go through. So a lot of the times what we do is we just ask how they're feeling. And so we come to a conclusion based on that. And that's the case regarding gender dysphoria. And specifically in children, you can see that it not only has to be represented in how they feel, how they're talking to you, but also it has to exhibit itself in their actual behavior. There has to be a marked realization of that, of a specific cross-sex behaviors.
I would like to just circle back to something really quick. So you said that actually research that we've done on doing something like giving like a boy that struggles with gender dysphoria, like giving them testosterone versus estrogen. I'm curious what the study is, because like I said earlier, I'm totally open to being wrong on this. Like if it turns out, oh well, the mental health outcomes don't improve, that sounds fine. So
so like take for example that we have
gladly be out of your head.
Yeah. So we have children where they have a thing called precocious puberty, where they basically start having puberty at around 8 years old. Obviously, that's not typical, and it's often very embarrassing for children that have to go through precocious puberty because they're sitting there playing with like all of their friends, and they're getting bigger and stronger, and they're or if they're female, they start getting attention that they do not like as like a child. And so in order for them to basically live relatively normal lives, we provide them hormone blockers. And there's also the fact that when you have somebody who is, has some sort of endocrinological difference in them, like not all hormones are the same. There's going to be people that are more masculine male, people that are more feminine male, and then women or females that are more masculine or females that are more feminine. And it's basically a large spectrum. And this is largely dictated by your hormones. And a person will feel comfortable one way or another regarding the social paradigm of male versus female, depending on the hormones they have. Does that make sense?
Sorry, but like maybe I wasn't really like clear in my request. Like I'm just curious. Like, do we have a study comparing? Okay, here's a batch of kids. Here's a batch of young boys with gender dysphoria. In this case, we gave them estrogen. In this case, we gave them.
No, you would not have a study for that. That would be incredibly unethical.
Be a control group.
Your study would be incredibly unethical.
Why would that be unethical?
Because you're forcing children to masculinize into something that they would not want, or a child to feminize into something that they would not want.
I didn't say that you would force them.
Okay, but do you understand?
No,
okay, here's the thing, right? Like,
with,
hold on. You're saying, hold on. Hear me, kid, right? Cartero. Let's say that we have a child that wants to be feminized. Okay. And, you go, well, you just don't have enough testosterone in your system. So you give them, hormone replacement therapy and force them to be more masculine, when it's quite common that people who have gender dysphoria, they don't want their body to turn into the thing that it is turning into. And so what you could actually be doing is exacerbating suicidal ideation under the basis of wanting to determine whether or not you're right.
Well, hold on. I'm not talking about, okay, this kid expressly says that they want this thing, and then we force them to have something else. But I'm talking about...
That's what you're asking for.
Wait, hold on. I think it's logically conceivable that there be like a little boy out there suffers from gender dysphoria, and he personally says, I would like to take like testosterone. I think that might like help my condition if the evidence is given to him. You just logically think it's possible that a little boy like that could exist.
If a kid says that they want to take testosterone, then they likely want to masculinize.
Well,
that's an argument in my favor, just so you're aware, right? I'm not forcing any child to transition into something that they don't want.
What I'm talking about, though, is that the kid wants to do it as a way of alleviating the gender dysphoria, right? So the kid says, I feel that I am internally feminine. It doesn't match with
Yeah.
my body. And so I think the way that I could help is if
Yeah.
I take male hormones
Well,
that could alter my mind such that it would match my body.
We have seen people with gender affirming care, or the lack thereof, and the lack thereof has increased the suicidal ideation. So I would imagine like enforcing hormones when they already have expressly said that they don't want that would likely exacerbate that situation.
Well, I'm not talking about people who are expressly saying they don't want that, right? Like, can we make a distinction between the categories?
But that's what gender dysphoria is.
Dysphoria, who say they want
that's what gender dysphoria is in adolescence.
No. Gender dysphoria, as you defined it, doesn't.
No, not as I defined it, as the DSM-5 defined it. I'm not a clinical psychologist.
Hold on.
Nor do I have a PhD or anywhere close in my criteria field to.
Hold on. I agree with you on the diagnosis. I'm just taking contention with your prescription, right? So, do you think it's conceivable that there could be a child who exists who has this dysphoria? Who would try a different method than the one that is typically prescribed?
Well, yeah, I mean, we've tried different methods, and I mean, like these kinds of studies, they go back as far. Hold on. It's been pretty polite for the most part.
Sorry about that. I'm a little heated here. I'll let you talk. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we have done studies on this, right? Where we've looked at various endocrinological findings and how the endocrine affects the body. We've done it in both animals as well as humans in observing endocrinological differences as well as explanations regarding intersex conditions, which these are transness and intersex conditions are often very closely related to one another. And these kinds of studies have been around since even the 1950s, even prior to, I don't know, like you'll hear Matt Walsh mention John Money as an example. It's even before that. There are people even before that. And probably some of the earliest instances where we've observed hormones changing creatures, animals, was, I think it was like in the 1890s, where there was an experiment regarding roosters having their testicles removed, which then caused them to establish feminizing physical traits. Albeit they still contained a male cloaca. This is just one example. I mean, as early as the 1890s, we started realizing hormones, which causes changes in the body. And we can exhibit that even further today regarding children. So it just this is backed by empirical data.
I am not necessarily, like, for the sake of my argument, I can accept all the stuff that you would say about the outcomes of these things. I just still think that there are other methods of dealing with it that I don't think you made the case that we have data to support that, right? So, like,
we do.
I think. Well, okay. What is the study where you've tested the effect of same-sex hormones? Like, where's the study
I've already explained to you, if a person has gender dysphoria and you force them into something that they do not want, it's going to it only exacerbates it, and you basically have you would not have that experiment because of the ethical dilemma, right? Because if you're wrong, you've got a lot of dead kids. They're not going to do a study like that. I can pull up like maybe a study.
I'm not talking about kids who are being forced to do anything. That's not what I'm talking about. Here, let me give a quick example. Okay, so like my cousin, he had some hormone issues where he was a little underdeveloped, right? He was a little bit of like a little guy, but he didn't want to take any kind of immunizing hormones or anything like that. If anything, he probably would let's just say he's leaning more towards something that would make his behavior closer to the one that is typically associated with his sex.
Right? Yeah, no, wait. So that's super common. That's actually super common. There are, in fact, much more.
Hold on. Let's just say that. that he has gender dysphoria, right? There's not any kind of test saying the mental health effect of that and comparing it with feminizing, right?
Well, I mean, are you saying that there are you talking about the risks? I'm sorry, you lost me there.
Oh, so all right. Here, let me take a step back and clarify. I don't think we have data on something like giving someone same-sex hormones and how that would affect mental health. And
Okay,
again,
well, if a
before-
person
before
has
you jump
gender
on
dysphoria,
I'm
you
not
would.
talking about people who don't want it.
Okay, all right.
I'm not
So
talking
the
about people
people
who
that
don't
want
want
it,
same-sex
of what you're talking about, specifically what you're talking about, a great example of this would be a male, assigned male at birth, who is male by their gender. So they are cisgendered. This is just a typical, average, ordinary male. They do not have as much testosterone. And so what they do is that they go to a doctor and then are determined via a blood test that they have low testosterone. And so what they apply is gender affirming care to give them the hormones that they need in order to masculinize themselves. And FYI, that's much more common than feminizing a male sex. It's fairly uncommon a person who has gender dysphoria as opposed to somebody who wants to masculinize or feminize themselves.
It sounds like to me the larger difference between which kind of hormone you give is based on the kid's preference. That feels fairly broad. Like I just don't.
No, it's. I believe that it needs to go through a psychiatrist, and I do believe that it needs to go. I do believe that the parent should also be involved in it. Right, and so no, it's not just up to the child. They actually have to match diagnostic criteria.
Well, do you believe that the parent could shut down the child and the psychiatrist? Like if the psychiatrist said, "Okay, your kid has gender dysphoria," and the kid's like, "I have gender dysphoria. I want to feminize," would the parents say, "Nuh-uh"? Or would you say that the child would have to?
So to be fair, I think that is intensely cruel of the parent to do that, and they should not do that. At the same time, we have plenty of instances of children who the parents make bad decisions on behalf, and there is some level of parental autonomy that does kick in. Albeit, with that being said, I do think that's intensely cruel to do. But I do think that the parent will often, they're able to establish the kinesics of their child often much better than a psychologist would with 3 or 4 sessions.
Okay, so you ultimately believe that parents should be able to veto the transition.
Yes, I believe, yes, at least currently. I mean, I think that maybe there could be a point where it would be like child abuse, like, because like there are instances where parents, they'd be like, well, if we just pray, when a child has like, say, like a brain hemorrhage, it's like, well, do they go to jail for neglect? Like, should it be illegal to do that? Yeah, I kind of think so. And like, I think if there was even more strong evidence behind it, then I would probably be on that side, or where we can make it more concrete. I would be in favor of that. But as of right now, that's the position I hold.
So when would it be parental abuse for the parents to deny?
So basically, like I'm thinking under the basis,
Christian parents who are like, we're not going to do it.
I'm thinking under the basis that there exists I'm thinking that there is like a machine that you plug them up, and it 100% accurately determines whether or not somebody is trans. Like 100%. It cannot be wrong, Does that make sense? Like, if that was the case, and it's like, okay, well, then it shouldn't be up to the parent on medically efficacious care. You know, it would be like neglectful to not take care of your child.
Like, because we can, like,
But I'm just telling you, like right now, we don't have that. That doesn't
hold on,
exist.
like,
We have to
there's
like
no
operate on
way
other
with the
people's
problem.
situation.
Sure, but within your hypothetical, like let's say you had some kind of robot you could hook up someone up to, right? Like with almost any other condition, you usually have a few options. Let's say that you're the parent and your child is diagnosed by this super accurate, never wrong robot, and it says your kid has like depression, right? That
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean that they have to take any specific antidepressant, right? Like there would be a bunch
No.
of different options you could pursue there.
Yeah,
But in
this is
some
this is
cases,
why I think it
you might
requires a medical
ultimately-
health professional. But you asked whether or not a parent has a right to say no. I think yes, currently, without the perfect robot, yes.
perfect robot. Like, would it, like,
You
Just
cut
because
off
you
at the
know someone
early
has
part.
this condition, right?
I heard
That's
perfect
the condition.
robot, and that was it.
oh, so, okay. Like, sorry, let me repeat myself. Even if you have a perfect robot, wouldn't there be a lot of different ways to deal with a different condition? Like the example I was giving a little bit earlier, if you had a perfect robot and it says,
Yes,
hey,
there are.
it has depression or something like that, there'd be a bunch of antidepressants you could decide to give them. You could even,
Yeah, there's a ton of different ways.
Any antidepressant.
There's a ton of different
Or to, like,
ways.
say,
Okay, hold on.
the
I'm
side
talking over
effects
you.
are too bad.
So let you finish. I'll let you finish.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
There's a ton of different ways that a child can get will be treated differently. So a lot of the times children can come in, and this is like roughly 90% of the time, children come in saying that they have that you know they're trans, they would like to gender affirming care. All right, great. It's usually a psychological evaluation, and most children don't even match the DSM's criteria for gender dysphoria. So in a situation like this, it's really, really common where it's unironically, it's just a phase. In that type of situation, social transition is perfectly fine. And what social transition means is, no, you're not going to give them any hormone blockers. You're not going to give them, you know, any drugs or anything, but they can decide, you know, okay, they're going to wear dresses. They're going to, you know, wear makeup, whatever, you know, nothing that's going to hurt the child in any way. And a lot of the times they just end up growing out of it, right? That's why these diagnostic criteria are here, and why I think it's important to follow medically efficacious positions on it.
Okay. We can leave it there. My closing statement is just I don't think that all of the options have been looked into. I think there's only really one prescription for this mental health thing, and I think we should probably look at more. Just so that there can be more options for people dealing with this situation.
Well, there are multiple options.
Yeah, I think in balance. Well, I think there should be even more than we're presented with. I think there would potentially be ways to solve gender dysphoria without any kind of transition. I was talking earlier about using like same-sex hormones. There could also be, I don't know, some kind of way that you get people to be more comfortable in their own bodies.
Well, what if somebody has androgen insensitivity syndrome? Do you think that? Hold on. What if somebody has androgen insensitivity syndrome? Would you say that we need to give them testosterone?
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't know what the fuck like androgen sensitivity syndrome is.
So basically, when they're given testosterone, their body doesn't synthesize it the same way as a typical male, and it basically just acts as if there is no testosterone. So giving testosterone to that would just be largely ineffectual. And just so you're aware, they are often XY chromosomes, and they are, by all intents and purposes, female. They have a vagina. They have their, you know, hips. You would not tell that these women have this condition. They would just be women. A lot of the times they're incontinent.
Okay,
but like they are indeed women.
So they're just like it's just like an infertile woman.
Well, so like what it is it's a condition who has XY chromosomes. They cannot use male hormones. They have androgens, which lead to the development of a typical female external characteristics, despite having things like internal testes and being genetically male. So I could give you like an example of like, here's like some women that have androgen insensitivity syndrome. I'm going to share it on screen. By all intents and purposes,
I mean, that just sounds like an infertile woman. It just sounds like I would just treat that.
well,
like
but they
an
are
infertile
XY.
woman.
They are XY. Like,
oh, so you're what? So they have like testicles or something, or
they have
how does that work?
internal testes, but they have a vagina. They
Okay.
have
Well, I mean, okay. Well, yeah. I think. I'm not really sure what I would do
Yeah.
with someone in that situation.
well, yeah, you wouldn't give testosterone
I'd
to somebody
probably-
like this because it wouldn't do anything. You're just
Sure, maybe
wasting
not.
your
That's
time.
not really what I was talking about, though.
You know, also there's like,
Maybe, yeah, that's not
you
really
can
what
look
I'm
at, for another example is like congenital adrenal hyperplasia. You right there, you have all sorts of different, complex, endocrinological symptoms that would radically change what the testosterone is even doing. And so a lot of the times it wouldn't even be effective. It would just be a situation where it's like, okay, don't do that. Why are you doing that?
Okay, well, I really wasn't talking about that specific situation. That seems even
But
more.
a lot of these people, they end up
niche,
coming out as
but-
trans because of these hormonal conditions. You are
Yeah, but
in
that
effect
sounds like a
talking
fairly
about
niche
those people
form of it,
when
right?
we're talking about this.
Well, no, I'm referring to the broader umbrella group. Maybe it applies to those people, but like I'm referring to the totality, not like specific subgroups. You might have different prescriptions for different cases, right? Like there's all kinds of people, I guess. You might have gender dysphoria. Like you might have someone like me who's just a, for all intents and purposes, like a fully functioning, with testosterone or something. It's just like, I don't know. I
Right.
feel
Well,
insecure
let me
about
ask
being
you
a guy.
this,
I
right?
want to be a girl or something.
Yeah, let me ask you this.
Okay.
So when did you go through puberty? Would you say 14, 13?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm a late bloomer, so
So 15?
13 or something.
15? Okay, I'll just say 15. That's fine. I don't mean to make it personal.
Yeah, 15, sure.
So there you are. You start having puberty. Great, amazing. But for whatever reason, God or whatever genetic anomaly has played some very cruel tricks upon you. And you have a rare condition called gynecomastia, which means that the synthesis of testosterone is different how you normally synthesize it. And as a result, you grow female breasts. So there you are, 15 years old, and assume, right, you feel the same way that you do now. You'd probably be very embarrassed by your breasts. Wouldn't you agree?
Right. I don't know. I like boobs.
So you'd be like, yeah, I want
I'm
to
just
keep
kidding.
these.
I'm kidding. It would be sure.
I don't know.
Sure.
Maybe you
I'm
are
kidding.
trans. No, I'm fucking with you.
Yep,
Sorry,
You got me.
sorry,
You
so-
got me.
Okay, so, obviously it'd be very embarrassing, right? And so you probably would go to a doctor and say, "Doctor, this is ridiculous. I'm growing boobs. I'm a boy. I'm not a girl. I'm a boy." Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what if the doctor said something along the lines of, "Well, are you sure you're a boy? Really what we should be doing, since your body synthesizes testosterone, is that you should really live how you're designed to be lived, and we should give you feminizing hormones." Would you find that to be an adequate answer? Or would that be like
so they say
absurd
they
to
want
you?
to give me feminizing hormones?
Yeah, because you're growing breasts. And you synthesize testosterone differently.
No. I would say.
You'd be upset,
say
right?
No, I would not.
Okay, so but hold on. Like, we're trusting the child. How can you trust a child in making that decision for themselves? You see the problem here?
Well, hold on. I think I don't think that the issue in your the issue in your analogy is that the doctor just gets to do it, right? Like I think
No.
most
Well,
reasonable parents would be like,
I'm saying like there is a level that you do need to talk about the children and their experience, and then they need to agree with the opposing gender thing, and then talk to the doctor, talk to the your parents. That's what I believe.
Yeah, but like I don't like look, I don't really believe that we should like I don't know. I just think kids want to do a lot of stupid there are cases where you go
I
to kid,
couldn't agree with you
and then there are
more.
cases
That's why I
where
think
you
it's
wouldn't.
super important to apply evidence-based care. Very, very important.
Oh, hold on. Like I said earlier, even if it's evidence-based, really haven't looked into other.
We have. Like I said, these studies have been around for a very long time. Longer than you've been alive.
I don't even dispute that. I'm saying even if hold on, even if I was studying, we don't know how old I am. I'm actually 90, but
You're not 90.
or like
You're definitely not born before
Even if
1972.
studies,
That's for
you
sure. Or the 1950s. Like,
I'm
come on.
joking, bro.
Yeah.
I'm trolling, okay? No, but what I'm saying is that we have all these studies that do
Well,
prove
so I mean, are you
stuff
interested in
works.
this particular
They don't prove that
field?
something else doesn't work.
Are
They
you
don't prove that
interested in this
something else
particular
doesn't,
field?
right? What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Which
are you
field?
interested in this field of study? Like, is it interesting to you? Hello? Hello?
Did I cut out? Hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
No.
Can you hear me?
Sorry. No. Does this field? Yeah, I can hear. Does this field interest me? Yeah, sure.
Okay. What have you read any books on it?
What are you talking about?
Have you read any books on the endocrinological findings regarding people who have differentiation in their sex hormones? Because I have.
Hold on. I'm not. Okay, what's your point? I'm not talking
Well,
about.
so here's the
I'm not
thing, right? Like I
talking about
find it, so like
books
what
are
I find
wrong.
it like
That's
really,
books are
really,
wrong.
hold on. What I find like really common, specifically, and I'm not saying that you're doing this, mind you, right? I'm just saying that I see this happening amongst a lot of people, where, you know, I do get a lot of pushback where like, well, I don't know if that's efficacious. I don't know if that's legitimate. So then what ought happen is that it would behoove you to go out of your way and look at the research that we already have and then determine for yourself after you have done enough reading on the subject to then determine whether or not that they have done enough enough research.
I don't think you understand my critique. I'm not.
No, I
disputing any
do
of the
understand
research.
your
Let's say
critique.
for all 10,
You want me to steelman
there
your
is
critique?
research into alternative ways to solve it.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, tell me, steelman my critique.
Yeah, I think that you believe that there are likely better ways to solving the gender dysphoria issue, such as masculinizing boys by their sex instead of going the opposite direction, and that hasn't been adequately explored.
My point. That was like a specific example. My point is that alternative.
We should
methods of
explore more
dealing with
examples.
it
So here's the thing, right?
have been-
We have done a lot of this research. The research has already been done, a lot of it. And so I guess like I'm asking that you should, right, if you are interested in this subject, certainly go out of your way to understand the current
No, that's great. I would
endocrinological
love to look at this
findings
research. I would love
on the
to.
research, right? Like
Okay,
here's a
what is
great
that?
book I recommend. Here,
So-
I'll show it to you right now. I have it. I recommend everybody listening
I'm
to this
talking
stream
about,
to
like,
consider
I
reading
asked
it.
for
If
a
you
very
are
specific
against
thing,
it, right?
okay?
If you're against it for whatever reason, to pick up the book, right, that we so disagree with, right? Pick up the book Brain Gender by Melissa Hines. Fabulous book. I read it cover to cover.
Hold on.
And
Hey, look,
this
look.
was the
You're the
book
study man.
that
Hey, you're the genius
solidified
here.
my understanding
Please
regarding
explain
trans
me.
people. And it's coming from they reference multiple studies, both from a neurological perspective, an endocrinological perspective, as well as a psychological perspective on the differences of sex behavioral traits and as well as hormonal differences that occur not just in humans but as well as in animals.
What are the mental health outcomes? What are the mental health outcomes for kids who have dysphoria and then they take the same sex outcomes? What is the result of that?
Well, again, that would be an unethical study because if you're wrong about your hypothesis, you've got a lot of dead kids. So that study doesn't exist, what you're expecting. I've already explained that.
Hold on, couldn't the same thing apply if you say you feminize a kid? Even if they say they want it, it could potentially have adverse effects. Wouldn't that apply?
Yes, that's why evidence-based care is necessary, and it does determine that gender-affirming care is the most effective way of treating gender dysphoria. That is currently what is medically efficacious.
I think I'll dip. Do you do these pretty regularly? Or?
I do, and you should subscribe. Are you subscribed?
No.
Oh man, consider subscribing.
Maybe next time.
I'm a really tiny. Wait, you don't think I? Wait, hold on. This is not an argument. This is a discussion.
Well, no, I don't think you ever responded to the claim.
I did.
Look,
I responded to all of your claims. What claim did I not respond to?
You told me.
What claim did I not respond to? Right.
Study. No, let me tell you. If you did a study where you said, "Hey, these kids all took these boys, they took testosterone, and we found that they were more depressed," I would say, "Okay, that point that I posited was incorrect. There was research on that." You haven't pointed me to a study that says that.
Why don't I take the time? Because maybe it's possible that there was some, I don't know, like there were a lot of very unethical studies done during World War II. So maybe we find something regarding that. Let's see. Hold on.
Right. Yeah. I'll maybe call in later. If
hold on. No, just give me a sec. Just hold tight. Just stay tight.
I said it's okay. I'm a busy man. When do you do these streams?
So typically I do them on Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 to 9:30. And oftentimes you will find me as well just doing it impromptu on the weekends.
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh, he left. Okay, hold on a sec. So I'm actually kind of curious as to whether or not this study exists. Was there? All right, hold on. Let me timestamp this. 2/21/52. Discussion of trans people and the efficacy of gender affirming care. I'll have to come up with a better title than that. All right, let me. I am no longer on Do Not Disturb. We are taking calls. We got a few people listening on multiple streams, so consider calling in 202-998-5218. I'm actually kind of curious. I'm gonna. All right, looks like we got somebody here. Their name is kungfujoe. We're gonna invite kungfujoe.
Hello.
I think I remember you, kungfujoe. I think I had your phone number blocked.
Yeah, seems a bit cowardly, I think.
No, I mean, there's like a level of like trollery that I'm willing to kind of tolerate. And then once you kind of breach that line, I'm like, all right, you're just a waste of my time.
No, that's not why you blocked me.
Okay. Why did I block you?
I wasn't trolling you. Basically for having like an America First perspective.
Okay.
So, like Nick Fuentes is gaining a lot of traction and getting a lot of stage time right now because these views are becoming very popular. And I think running from them isn't productive for your side.
Do you think that Nick Fuentes has good ideas?
Does Nick Fuentes have good ideas? I don't know if he really gives off ideas. I think he just paints a picture of reality and then he kind of gives his like descriptor of it.
Okay, are they good? Do you think that they're good ideas?
he doesn't. Again, he doesn't give out ideas. What he does, I
Now, can
do
you stop
believe
being
he has an
evasive and just
accurate.
answer? Do you like what he says? Do you like it?
I agree with the fact of the claims he makes.
Do you
yes.
like what he says? Stop dodging the question.
No, I don't.
I'm not asking
don't
if you
like what
agree
he
with the
says.
fact. I'm saying, do you like what he says?
No, when I hear him like describe the negative things about our country, I don't like hearing it. No.
What about if he says something positive about our country?
Well, then, I mean, obviously, I'm an American patriot, so yeah, I would like that.
Okay,
I
so
like
what are some of
hearing
the
those
negative things that he says about our country that you do not like?
that we basically live under a state of Jewish fascism.
Okay, do you believe that we live under a state of Jewish fascism?
Well, definitely in the foreign policy area of things, I believe we do, yeah.
All right, so what should we do regarding the Jews?
Well, it's not all Jews. I think it's mostly just those.
I'm just
who
asking
are,
you what we should do.
Well, can you be more specific? That's a pretty broad.
I'm asking you specifically. Let's say I make you president of the United States. There's no Supreme Court. There's no Senate. There's no. You're God King. Okay. What do you do with the Jews?
Yeah.
What would you want to do?
Well, I would want to cut funding to Israel pretty significantly.
Oh, I'm in
if not
perfect agreement
complete.
there.
Yeah.
You won't find me disagreeing with that. What else? Is that it? You just would cut funding to Israel? You're right up in line with the woke liberal.
I would also, I would also make AIPAC sign under FARA.
Sign under what?
FARA, FARA. So, like, when you advocate for foreign countries, like they do here, you have to be registered under like a foreign registration, so that they know that you're lobbying on behalf of a foreign government. AIPAC does not have to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's a huge
is there anything,
sidestep to our
is there anything
system.
else? Like, is that it? Like, because I don't.
That's about
really see
it.
myself-
That's big. That seems to be the biggest problem in regards to us
All right,
being
well,
cut.
you and I are not
foreign
going
power.
to. You and I are not going to disagree as to whether or not that we should be funding an ethno state. I completely agree with you. I don't think that we should be funding an ethno state, and I don't see that AIPAC is doing good things. I think that they're committing a genocide in Palestine.
I agree.
Among Palestinians, and we need to reconsider whether or not that's something that we want to be not just ethically aligned with, but just like from a humanitarian point of view, that it is unethical to do so. But that's great. I mean,
couldn't agree more.
Nick
It's
Fuentes definitely
unethical
goes a
on
lot
two
further
fronts.
than that. He definitely seems to want to do something with the Jews. And do you agree that how many people do you think died during the Holocaust?
Oh, I mean, how many do I think? I don't know. That seems to be debated a lot these days, and I'm watching it closely. So I'll just, I'll just continue to
there's the
pay
fact
attention.
that you have like census reports that are able to exhibit the disappearance of Jewish people across all countries. So it's almost like that 6 million Jews just kind of disappeared roughly after World War II.
Well, that's why
so
I pay
that's
attention
where
to
that
the
that's where that
debate, because,
that's where that number comes from.
Sure, but I've also heard it contested on a bunch of different grounds, and that's why I kind
So
of don't
do you
have an
believe that
opinion.
it's 6 million, or what is it?
I'm paying attention to the debate that's currently
Dude,
raging
why do you
on
gotta
about it,
just
so.
evade? Stop evading. Just
I am
answer
not
the
evading.
question.
I'm answering. I don't know. My answer is I don't know.
Okay, well,
Is there something wrong with saying I don't know?
no, there's nothing wrong with saying I don't know, but we kind of do know based on census reports.
Well, you could. Well, I don't know. I think it would
Why
not
do you
be
doubt the census
debated if
reports?
it was. Well, I obviously there's other things to consider than the census reports, and I don't
what?
even know if the
What would
census
you-
reports are legitimate because they.
All right, so we got to doubt,
after
right? And
wartime-
regarding the amount of Jews, and we like.
No, I'm.
Do you like Nick Fuentes?
Like whatever. I disagree with him on some things pretty vehemently, but I mean, I think the guy has charisma.
I think it's a pretty
I give him
disgusting
credit.
human being and an unironic troglodyte that feeds on morons and a lot of people who have poor socioeconomic conditions. And he's like a leech that makes society a worse place and makes it more unjust and breeds hatred and destruction upon to the United States. That's what I think. Right. So, so sitting there saying like he's got good ideas is like a really like I find it absolutely deplorable. And I think I was perfectly correct in not talking to you anymore.
Well, actually, what you did was you strawmanned me, and then you blocked me based on your own strawman of me.
I'm going to let you finish off Kung Fu, and that's going to be the end of that.
Well, is that all? What is what's the hurry?
I am blacklisting you. Yep.
Why
because I don't like hate ideology. I don't like platforming hate ideology.
Hold on. Well,
I don't like you as a person. I think you're a pretty disgusting human being. Okay. And I like to actually have actual discussions with people and not platform people's hate nonsense. So I'm going to give you the last word and that'll be it.
For my last word, could I actually ask you a question instead?
Sure.
Yeah. So with these ideas becoming more and more prominent and the obvious rise of Nick Fuentes, do you really think that just blacklisting everyone who is considering his ideas and what he says, do you really think that's an effective strategy for the left? Is to just kind of like
I don't care. It's actually not my job to like to like de-extremify these people. I personally believe by advocating for improvement of socioeconomic conditions, people don't look at world strifes like this nearly as much. They just look at people like that as effectively crackpots as they live perfectly happy lives.
I don't think.
Anyway, so that's going to be the end of that.
What I was trying to ask is that.
Well, I answered your question. I gave you the last word.
No, actually, you didn't. You didn't because
Yep. All right, so I don't like Nazis. I'm going to block that user. Listen, I know that you may think that I'm cowardly or whatever. I don't care. kungfujoe is perma-blocked from my channel, talking to me, or I've removed him entirely. Honestly, I completely forgot that he was there. I see that there is a person who is calling me. His name is Martian. Martian, you have to actually show up. Hold on. You need to show up on MDD and be on the stage. Yep. Okay. Let's see here. Mistral Diddy says, people like you won Trump the election. Thank you, bro. Fucking psycho. Okay. I mean, you can think whatever you want, but you're actually seeing the reaped reward and benefit of voting Trump. And I don't see how it's relatively beneficial. Hold on a sec. Let me see. I got the phones are open. 202-998-5218. I am, in fact, taking calls. I don't like Nazis. I mean, I'll hear you out, but I'm going to have a very short, fuse on it. So sorry, apologies. That's just kind of how I am. I don't like it. And I'll be honest with you, man. I've been dealing with a lot of people who are, very hateful lately, especially regarding trans individuals, and especially with this whole shooting. Oh my God! We're getting a phone call. Here we go. You're on the line with First Amender.
Hey, what's up, dude?
Hey, can I ask who's calling?
Yes, my name is Dylan.
Hold on one second, Dylan. Sorry about that. I promised that I would do timestamps, and so that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to make sure that I provide accurate timestamps for people who want to go over my live feeds. Give me one quick moment. I'm almost done.
You're good.
192. Saving this text file so I don't lose it. All right, sorry. One more time. What was your name?
My name's Dylan.
Dylan. How you doing, Dylan? What do you want to talk about?
I was hoping we could talk about immigration today.
Sure, let's talk about immigration. Love it.
Last caller was a crazy person, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I don't, so I've talked with him before and he's said some pretty extremist stuff and he would call pretty consistently on my channel. And, it just got to the point where it's like, I'm exhausted of this person and I just didn't want to hear him anymore.
I'm not like super on the internet, so I don't know who Nick Fuentes is, but I see people talk about him all the time. So
he's a known, yeah, he's a known neo-Nazi.
Oh. Okay. Well, anyway, okay, what I want to talk about the immigration stuff was I was thinking that, I don't know, I think we have different worldviews, but I think we both agree that the U.S. immigration policy is bad.
The U.S. immigration policy?
Do you agree with that? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it needs to be improved for sure, especially the part where we're not doing due process.
Okay. Do you think that my kind of idea on immigration is I think like immigration, like a good immigration policy should benefit, I guess, both the immigrant and the citizen. Like, should be positive for both.
I couldn't agree with
do you
you
agree
more.
with that?
Couldn't agree with you
Okay,
more.
but I think the state does have a duty to the citizen that it doesn't have to the immigrant. Do you agree with that?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, so good, positive immigration. Well, first of all, immigration is a positive thing for countries, specifically for the U.S. I think the U.S. benefits immigration more than other countries.
Yep.
Right? And I think that good immigration policy benefits both the immigrant and the citizen, but the state has a duty first to the immigrant. Or, sorry, to the citizen, I mean.
Well, the way that I would think about it is that, okay, there needs to be like a base set of rights, which would include positive rights. And I believe like things like healthcare, access to education, even past college. I think that should be afforded to every individual that wants to work here in the country. Right. To me, it doesn't matter if you're an immigrant, not an immigrant. It benefits us to have people who are educated around us.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can both agree with most of what you said, but not to derail too much. But when I say the immigrant, I mean that I think there's like two different. The word immigrant, I'm like referring to two different groups of people here, which I think could be more specific. So you have the people who are desiring to immigrate, which is always going to be more than the amount of people that we are currently immigrating, right? So like someone who's in the immigration process would be someone who has a green card who is seeking citizenship, right? And I think that the state has the same duty to that individual that they do to their citizens, right? But I'm differentiating the duty. So for example, I would say that like if we want to, let's say we have a sector let's say we're focused on labor immigration and we have a sector like a digital sector. Like right now there's been a lot of layoffs in the Silicon Valley, digital area.
Very
right?
sad. Yes.
We shouldn't be importing tons of labor for that sector because the state should prioritize the citizens that are out of jobs first. That's kind of what I'm
so let's say for example that I had like a magic wand or I had like, the power of the presidency and the Senate and the Congress and everything. Basically the solution to because the problem that you're having is a complex one and it's a multifaceted solution. So if there's not enough for people, I would invest in giant infrastructure projects that make it to where that is the case. It is possible for people to do just fine, despite how many people are coming into the country. I would immediately put these people to work and have them build up the economy from there. If there's not enough schools, great. I just imported a bunch of immigrants so we can build schools, for example. And I think that same thing with like housing. I think that like we need to take like NIMBYs and toss them out the window. And well, I don't mean literally toss them out the window. I mean, I don't like NIMBYs. And I think we need to establish strong housing projects that make it very easy for people to be able to afford a house. And I think that we work together from a community centric approach to be able to afford everybody's living and standard of needs. And I'm going to have a big booming economy with way more people working and way more businesses. I would also disincentivize cars. In fact, have more people-centric approaches. So this would effectively be, you would end up having the dismantling of things like parking lots. Zoning laws would be changed where the commercial and private sector, or I'm sorry, commercial sectors and residential sectors can actually be mixed and intertwined with no issue whatsoever. This basically would require there to be less people driving around to go from point A to point B, and you can just you can go likely nearby to work where you need to work. There would be a lot more bars available. There would be a lot more movie theaters, bookstores, furniture shops, places that people actually want to be, as opposed to places people need to be, like car shops or tire places or repair shops or parking lots or parking garages or car washes. These are all things that it's like it only exists because the car exists. And I've observed countries where they don't have this problem. They just de-emphasize the car and re-emphasize the people. And so what ends up happening is that there's just a lot more businesses, less parking lots, less flat areas that nobody goes to or likes to look at. And there would just be more places that people would like to visit. What do you think?
Well, it all sounds great. However, it's definitely a magic wand scenario. You are describing New York City a little bit.
It is. Mostly I'm describing the Netherlands. Have you ever been?
I actually haven't been to Amsterdam.
What did you think?
I was thinking of the Netherlands exactly when you're describing it.
What did you think?
It's actually funny. Well, I would say, I don't know, I liked some things in Amsterdam. I didn't like other things in Amsterdam. It's actually funny. I was studying immigration in Amsterdam, which is why I was there. Kind of crazy. I thought it was cool. It was all right. It wasn't totally my cup of tea. It was one of the first European countries I'd been to, and so I was a little freaked out because I was staying in a bad part of Amsterdam, and I actually thought it was like the nicest place I'd ever been to in my life. You know, because I'm used to like
dude, true. Yeah,
you know,
okay.
and then a guy came over to me. He was a Dutch guy, and he goes, "Hey man, are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, are you American?" I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "You need to be careful here. This is a super dangerous part of town." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "No, man, like, you need to be really careful. You need to get out of here." And I was like, this is the nicest place I've been to in my life. You know what I mean? I was like, that's what I remember about the Netherlands.
That's funny.
But, yeah, Europe is definitely, like, especially coming from, like, I don't know. I mean, you live in Florida, right?
Yeah, Florida. I mean,
there's
so many places where it's really bad.
Yeah, just walking around, you're walking around a normal part of town, and it's like, compared to Europe, it's like the sketchiest looking place.
Yeah, no,
like,
100%. 100%. I mean, again, like, to me, it's a multifaceted approach. And what's really upsetting to me is that when you look at the United States is hands down one of the richest countries ever. In fact, in terms of raw numbers, in terms of our raw wealth, we are richer than every other country on planet Earth. And what's even more interesting about that is that if you observe our GDP per capita, I think it's at 88,000. That's the GDP per capita. And what's upsetting about this is that in the Netherlands, it's 66,000 GDP per capita. And yet they live much higher quality of living standards than we do. And so I ask myself, where did the money go? Like,
well, I actually,
where's our social safety nets? So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the also the Dutch mobility, financial mobility is now higher than the U.S.
Yes.
And that's actually a change recently in like the past 20 years.
Yeah.
And the U.S. has used like, if you go from like the 20s to the 60s or even the 80s, the U.S. had like the highest financial mobility in the world.
Yeah.
But now the Dutch are like burying us, and
Yes.
it's definitely like a new problem.
Yeah,
You know
and so I believe the reason why that's even the case is because you have more social safety nets available. Healthcare is free, college is largely free, and what's wild about that is like, take for example like the healthcare thing. Healthcare in the United States is we spend more per person in healthcare than even the Dutch do in each of their citizens. Yet we don't have free healthcare. And I can observe that there's tons and tons of insurance companies that are getting richer and richer. And there's lots of people who own these insurance companies being able to afford these ridiculously expensive yachts that are costing over $300 million. And for whatever reason, people can't get basic health care. And I'm like, okay, well, obviously, like, it's a policy problem. Like, it's not a money problem. We have the money. This is
I actually called a couple weeks ago and we talked about this a little bit.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with you 100% on this stuff for sure. I actually think it's beyond a false fright. I think it's like, I think we disagree in a little bit on some of this stuff. Like I think this is a corporation fused with a government problem. I don't know if you agree with me on that, but like,
no, I would agree with that. I think that the government is openly assisting corporations in garnering more profits on behalf of billionaire investors. And they're doing it on purpose. They have, deliberately done so. And it is in fact making life worse for a lot of people. And we need to pull back on that and pull back again. And we need to call out when we see this and elect representatives that won't do that.
Right.
You know, and let's maybe start off by making sure that the president isn't literally a multi-billionaire funded by other multi-billionaires. Maybe start with that. Kind of no brainer right there, right?
I actually disagree with you a little bit on that.
You think you should have a multi-billionaires president to help us fix the multi-billionaire problem?
Well, I do think that there is, and you can tell me I'm crazy and too.
It's like making a fat kid that in charge of a candy store. It's like, what do you
I know, but bear with me here.
All right, go ahead.
Bear with me here. I think it's like this might be too idealistic of me.
Okay.
And I might like read too many history books, and it might be that history is shaped by the people who are like, you know, who are the victors, you know, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But I wish that the people who are these successful people in our society were also the people who are good leaders, you know? Like, I feel like, and it might just be because it's the age we're in where everyone is corrupt, you know? Mm-hmm. But I wish our billionaires, like, were the geniuses, you know, the people who are actually inventing stuff, and they were also our leaders, you know what I mean? Like, like in a way, now I definitely, I'm not including Donald Trump in this at all, so don't get me wrong, right? But like, I think like Mark Cuban, I don't know too much about him, but it would be nice if like, he seems like someone who is fairly idealistic and fairly pro-America and stuff. I think he would be possibly someone who would end up being a possible. Maybe I'm completely off base on this. Maybe he's actually completely corrupt.
Hear me out, right?
Yeah.
When I'm referring to, you know, people that I would not want in charge, I'm referring to like top 0.00001%, right? It's like, these are the richest people on planet Earth, by a long shot. And like, I think if you're a billionaire or multi-billionaire, you are disconnected from the needs of people. And a millionaire is going to be largely very different from the billionaire and the multi-billionaire, you know, because at least a millionaire, right? They can't afford, you know, a $500 million yacht. where they have it staffed with 50 plus people to take care of a family of 5 for 1 month out of the year. Meanwhile, all of those 50 people are managing that boat the entire year. That's the level of wealth I'm talking about. Like, we're not talking like celebrity, wealth here. We're talking about the person that hires the celebrity to show up at their party. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I hear you.
And Donald Trump's one of those people, right? Just to be clear. And I don't think he has people's best interests at heart. And I think it's foolhardy to say, the country's going to get better if we just elect a billionaire. That's insane. I mean, we just literally made a fat kid in charge of the candy store. What do you think is going to happen?
I agree. I agree with you 100%. Like, I guess I look more like when you think about our founding fathers, who's
the person that you liked? What was it? The person that you mentioned?
I said Mark Cuban, possibly.
Yeah, let me look at Mark Cuban, for example. Is it Mark Cuban net worth?
Well, he's definitely a billionaire, right? He's super, super wealthy, right?
Oh crap! Yeah. Definitely not this guy. No, I would not want this guy.
Right, but
I don't want him in charge of.
But I mean, like
fat kid and candy.
But when I think about our founding fathers were all the elite of their day, right? But they were also. I mean, I think we can all agree that the Constitution was made the document for the people, but made by elites.
Sorry for a second,
right?
So James Miller said, and I hate to interrupt you, but James Miller said, I just thought I'd point it out. James Miller said, the most wealthy people will tell you that a boat is a horrible investment. Okay, so let me just tell you the type of wealth that I'm referring to. Yes, a boat is a horrible investment, but this is under the understanding that you're a millionaire or a multimillionaire. I'm not talking about this person. I'm talking about people who take, for example, you can have a faceless, nameless hedge fund investment banker that manages billions of dollars and shaves off tons and tons of money into his coffers through capital interest gains of 20% taxes on his gains. A person like this would garner billions upon billions of dollars a single year. Okay, so the idea of wasting $500 million on a 350-foot boat is okay to them, right? Because they literally have nothing else to spend it on. They have so much money that just the very interest on the money is impossible to spend. So they're perfectly okay with basically making a giant money sink for them to throw their money in and live extremely lavish lifestyles. Anyway, go ahead, continue.
Well, what I'm saying is that this idealism that our elite can be our leaders. They're not just completely looking out for themselves. And my example of that would be within American history would be our politicians for most of our country's existence.
Well, our founding fathers would have been at the level of just a standard millionaire. It would not be the multi-billionaires you see. I mean, these are at this point, right? Well, yeah. I mean, at this point, the current level of wealth is at the level of robber barons. That's where we're at currently. The CEO, on average, they are from a median worker, they make 300 times of what a median worker makes. In the United States in the 1940s, it was roughly 30 times to 20 times.
Right. I agree with what you're saying, but it doesn't take away from the fact that the most elite people of our country's origins were also the ones who made the most sacrifice. Right. So for example, George Washington.
I'm not talking about multi-billionaires or millionaires, though. I'm perfectly okay with millionaires running a country. Right. There's lots of millionaires.
Well, I'm not talking about. I get what you're saying, but I'm saying that I hear you saying that you're saying that relatively the billionaires are way more wealthy compared to our founding fathers, right?
Yes.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that they were still the richest at the time, right? They're not as
I mean,
rich
they're
as the people
wealthy
then,
and
but, like,
affluent. I'll get you that. And they're very educated as a result of being wealthy and affluent. But I would say that no, they would not be at the level of these billionaires. No.
okay, let me make one more other argument about the billionaire thing. So one of my fears, and you may disagree with this, and this is one of my worldviews, is that it doesn't matter who the president is at this point. That, like, our country is basically being run by kind of a shadow government, I guess, and this is like a little more on the conspiratorial side. But
Yeah.
I think
Well,
you can
I
see
don't
this
think it's
from,
a
like,
shadow government. I think it's groups of people that have exorbitant amounts of money and attempt to lobby their efforts to get what they want. And often what they want is more money. And so they get things like tax breaks or incentives towards insurance companies. And there's a lot of top-down strategies that basically result in the rich getting richer. I was unfortunate in realizing that there was a study that showed that the absolute wealthiest people, top 400 people in the United States, pay lower in percentage taxes than people who are middle class in the United States. If you make $50,000 a year, the average amount of taxes that is garnered after everything is said and done is roughly 37%. For people in the top 400, it's roughly 25%. That is completely unacceptable. We should not have that.
I watched your YouTube video.
Did you like it?
I appreciate that. Yeah, I did like it. Yeah.
I appreciate that. Are you subscribed?
I am subscribed. Yeah.
Sick. Base. If you have, by the way, if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. Really tiny YouTubers, so any amount counts. Go ahead. Sorry, continue.
No, but like, so I think this is shown, like through the PACs and stuff, and through like basically all the billionaires that bent the knee to Trump as soon as it looked like he was going to win the election. From like Zuckerberg, for instance, completely all of a sudden became like a Trumpster, and
well, because he wanted money. He wanted. Well, so believe it or not, the Congress has been looking at Zuckerberg in with a great deal of skepticism for quite some time, and they had sincerely been considering regulating Facebook, and Zuckerberg didn't want that. He wanted more money. He wanted to be able to be able to sell analytics of from children to fully grown adults without impunity, and saw it as an ineffective government regulation for the government to protect people's data, because he makes money off of those analytics by selling ads, and that's what happened, right? By him realizing that Donald Trump is likely to win, and him cozying up to Donald Trump will likely give him favorable tax breaks in the future. That's obvious.
Right. Yeah. I'm just going. Right. So that's my issue. So that's my argument towards the billionaire, right? Is that the billionaire, if you have a billionaire who isn't like a complete narcissist psycho like Trump, you have a billionaire who runs completely self-funded, who is completely believe in the American idealism, who is an actual idealist, then they could possibly
you're positing
have
that
the power without having.
Have you read Plato's Republic? Like, you're looking for like a philosopher king, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I haven't read it since I was in college over 10 years ago, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, I suppose that's possible. I find that it's possible, but I think it's very improbable, because usually billionaires will certainly cut corners in order to make even more money. This is very common.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Do you think it's more possible than a millionaire successfully being able to do it? Because the millionaire has to.
Yeah, no, I just think that the billionaire would likely do things that would garner their own success at the expense of other people. And they're in an asset class far above that of regular people, and they would likely not have people's best interests at heart. I believe that.
Well, because they have no more, but I think they would, because they have no more motivation, because they have the whole world at their fingertips.
Completely
they
disagree.
have like everything they could ever need.
We have one right now, right? That's running it. And how do you feel? Do you think he's running it good?
I definitely would say I do not.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that we would disagree on almost everything.
Yeah.
A lot of things.
Did you
I would
know that
definitely
he has
agree on that.
created additional tax incentives specifically for his billionaire buddies at the cost of middle class workers? He actually increased taxes on the middle class and he decreased taxes on the rich.
I mean,
Something
I
that he
haven't looked
already did, by the
completely
way,
into that
FYI, in his first presidency in 2017.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not shocked, but I would say that, like,
because he's a billionaire and he has billionaire buddies and he's going to help out his billionaire buddies. In fact, standing behind him were the richest people in America. I think there was like 8 or 10 of them, of the richest people in America, right behind him during his inauguration. They weren't even hiding it.
well, so AWOL thoughts asked an interesting question. He said, "Do you think that all billionaires are evil?"
Do I think? No, I don't believe that all billionaires are evil.
No.
But I think that billionaires do not have our best interest at heart.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I don't think that we should be trusting billionaires to run the country.
We got kind of derailed. Can I get back to the immigration question
Yes,
I had?
go ahead.
If you don't mind. Okay, so do you agree with me that illegal immigration is inherently a bad thing?
Illegal immigration is inherently a bad thing.
Yeah.
I think it's a moral gray area.
I can tell you why I think it's a bad thing, and you can tell me if you disagree with me.
Okay.
So based on my immigration premise that immigration must be beneficial towards the immigrant and the citizen, I think illegal immigration is bad for both parties because it's super dangerous. People die every year. It creates also an illegal labor market, which has been created in the U.S. right now, which is really, really bad for the people. It creates slave labor, trafficking.
Whoa, dude,
I
couldn't agree with you more. That's why we should have a valid pathway to citizenship and unions. Am I right? High five.
You're right. I'm with you.
You actually agree to that? You actually agree to that?
Pathway to citizenship and unions.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll admit. Last time you called, we talked about the union thing a little bit, and I definitely. I mean, I am generally more skeptical since last time we talked of some of the current free market situation we have going on right now. Specifically because of what we talked about earlier with how difficult it is for we have a decline in the American dream. And a more pressure on the middle class. And I think that there's definitely borderline conspiracy happening right now with large corporations extracting money from the middle class and trying to keep people as poor as possible. But
I don't know if they're I don't know if they're doing it intentionally. I just think that billionaires, they're addicted to success and greed.
Yeah, exactly.
And so as a result, and then the negative market externality is that the middle class erode away, which in turn basically makes the society top heavy of an asset ruling class that don't actually produce anything, just simply consume. And people in the middle who do produce things can't because they don't have the time or the money to do so. Right? It makes an unsustainable situation. You know, if everybody is just consuming and no one is producing anything, you know, it's only a matter of time before it collapses.
Right. Yeah. So my three biggest bills every month are insurance, right? Is going to be insurance, my mortgage, and basically insurance and mortgage. There's one other thing, but two things, right? Insurance companies get most of my money every month, and then the bank gets most of my money every month.
Yep, and those are the richest people ever.
Right, exactly.
Right, they're literally faceless corporate people, right? That I'm not exaggerating when I say this. Let me give you an example. They have 2 kids. This faceless person that you have no idea who they are, right? We're going to call them John Warbucks. You know, John Warbucks has a 450-foot yacht that he has fully staffed with 50 people, and him and his family of 5 get on this boat and they call up the producer of Paramount, and they say, I want Jay-Z to be there for my kid's birthday. Can you ask him how much? Jay-Z, what do they got to do? They gotta take a photo with my kids. My kids love Jay-Z, and they just want to take a photo and they want to hang out with him. All right. Any autographs? Yeah, they're probably gonna want autographs. All right. For a day? Yeah, full day. 8 hours minimum. Okay, that's gonna be. He's asking for $900,000. 900,000. That's too expensive. 700,000. So they did not go any lower than 820. All right, 820. And then there's Jay-Z partying with 2 kids. That's the level, right? It's not Jay-Z, right? It's the people that hire Jay-Z. Does that make sense? Faceless business autocrats that just have way too much money for themselves. And you bringing up the insurance companies and the banks is a fabulous example of just more lobbying efforts that have been made by these faceless people, so that way they can do exactly what I just exhibited as an example.
Right, exactly.
Right, it's completely unsustainable.
Which is one reason why I do kind of push back on. Well, I can't even push back. I don't even want to talk about this right now because I need to look more into it, and I don't have any information.
Yeah.
But one reason why I'm skeptical about not lobbies. What were you saying? The groups within companies.
Wait, can you repeat that?
What's it called? The groups where like the labor groups within companies. What are those called? Unions.
Yeah. Unions.
One reason why I'm skeptical of unions and of like any sort of government, whenever the government touches corporations, right, is where like
it gets bad
things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of my general view, on stuff like that. And so like,
well, let me ask you this. Right?
I don't know. Yeah.
Are most European countries better off, like, would you say, than the United States?
I would say currently yes, but
Okay.
I do not think historically yes.
All right, so
And,
currently
and
they are.
Can I caveat that with one thing?
Sure.
Can I caveat with one thing?
Sure.
I would also think that us and European countries have lost more freedom, and I also think it's a bad thing. So I think two things are happening at once. I think we are losing freedom, and also that we are losing economic prosperity.
Well, we're losing
So go ahead.
we're losing freedom and economic prosperity, but in Europe
Yes,
there was
I
a
agree.
loss of freedom and economic prosperity. But to be clear, I wanted to go back to it. Most of these European countries, they have unions, and they're very successful. They don't even need to have things like minimum wage laws, because the union accurately reflects how much the worker should get paid. And as a result, people live higher quality of living standards, and people aren't spent having to negotiate basic working conditions between each worker. There's like a set minimum standard that must be applied based on union perspective, based on the actual industry that they're in, and that union is collectivized in that sense. And we don't end up exhibiting that the companies, all of a sudden they all go out of business, because we've all heard the story that as soon as they unionize, they ask for too much, and then the business goes out of business. But that doesn't exhibit itself. There's tons of super robust business in Europe. It's just the working class tends to have more, a little bit
What
more.
about Detroit? What about Detroit? Like, so why do you think Detroit failed?
Because
that would
they're
probably be the
largely
most,
car
like-
industry, and they focused too much of
So
the car
that-
industry, and they didn't innovate. Colorado, they had a similar problem, and they innovated.
Well, but why do you think the car industry all left Detroit, right? Because that's the kind of the typical anti-union argument, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that's the reason the car industry left Detroit is because
Yeah.
the unions. And
Well,
the
they have
labor
nowhere to
was too
go
expensive.
if there's unionization efforts throughout the country. And I guess if they want to like bolster up their Mandarin and work with that, great. I mean, you have tariffs there. I mean, the reality is that there should be some level of accountability here. Companies need to pay their workers a fair wage. You can't just simply export your work to countries that artificially have lower wages. I'm not against tariffs in that instance. You know, I think it's important to consider that.
So what do you think of Trump's tariffs? I don't think it's derailed.
They're horrible.
Just if
They're
you want to make
horrible.
quick
Blanket
thoughts.
tariffs are idiotic.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I definitely.
I would
think
have
there's something
industry
wrong with the
specific
wages
tariffs
and
that would
all.
actually, you know, be efficacious and be evidence based, not whatever Trump is doing.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Okay. So back to the illegal immigration thing. So will you agree with me that illegal immigration is bad, or do you want to stay with the gray area? Because I just don't think it's a gray area personally. I just think it's
okay.
People die.
So for the sake of argument, and I would agree with you. Okay, fair enough. I'll grant you that yes, it is bad. And I believe that it would behoove us to be aware who is in our country. And the solution to that is have a simple pathway to citizenship. So that way people can readily understand it without a lawyer and be able to fulfill the criteria at the port of entry and be able to do so in an expedited fashion. And then this would result in substantially less illegal immigration. And if you're still having a lot of illegal immigration, fair enough, deport them. Sound fair?
Okay, that does sound fair. Let me get to where I think we can disagree then. Do you agree with the stat that we have 11 million people in the country right now that are non-documented?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm assuming. I think I heard you say this the other day, which is why I wanted to bring up the immigration thing. Is you would like to make all of them citizens, right?
No, I wouldn't necessarily want all of them to be citizens. I can give you my exact position. Do you have any communicable diseases? Are you vaccinated? Are you on the OFAC list? Are you on the no-fly list? If the answer is yes to the vaccines and no to everything else, basically come into the country and here's your green card. Yep. Really simple.
So you'd say green card, not citizenship, or green card on the way to,
or at least like a worker's visa or something. You know, they should be here legally.
Okay. I actually, that's way closer to my take then. I mean, I guess we're not going to disagree too much. I think that it's like such a giant problem that it's really hard to tackle. You know, I think that like it's almost impossible. So my position is actually all visas for everyone, and then we start sifting through them. You know, give everyone a pathway to citizenship, and then start sifting through and rejecting people.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so let me ask you this to get more specific. See if we can find another thing we disagree. Or if we can find something we disagree on is how many people do you think? I know you said your magic wand thing, but the magic wand thing is obviously not realistic because we cannot create structure and systems and physically.
No,
you
would pass a strong infrastructure bill that would emphasize people-centric infrastructure and providing states the funding necessary to move forward. It would be similar to kind of like the Biden infrastructure plan, but it would be less emphasis on roads and cars and more towards redesigning the roads to emphasize people instead of cars.
Well, even that would take time and also time within years, right?
Oh, it would take like 20 years.
That even would have
but it would be something
limitations.
It'd be something that you would find dividends in for decades. You know, and you would start seeing less and less parking lots and more buildings and more businesses available. It would likely be more dense as well, and people would be a lot happier. They would also be skinnier and need healthcare less. All of those things would happen.
Well, I think I think that's almost idealistic as me with the billionaire thing, especially because you live in Florida, right? So I mean, you know how the cities work there. There's no way you're going to be able to completely get rid of cars in Florida.
Yeah, you can.
Jacksonville's the largest city in the world.
Yeah, you can.
Have you been to Jacksonville?
Yeah, you take a
That
lane,
place is huge.
right, and you separate it. You take a lane, have it separate from, physically partitioned away from the road itself, and it'll be 2-lane, and it'll be a bike, and it'll be everywhere. And we're gonna change the parking. The infrastructure regarding parking lots. The requirements for parking lots would be far, far less. People would be able to sell their land as they see fit and build new buildings in areas where there was parking lots. They would be able to tear them down, make parks, make recreation, and there would just be less cars overall. Congestion would basically crawl to a halt. People would bike more because it would be actually enjoyable, as opposed to the current bike lanes in Florida, where not only do you have to travel very long distances because of the way that the buildings are designed, as well as the infrastructure being built regarding zoning laws. You can have, for example, because everybody would be on a bike, people would just be skinnier and healthier. And this is what is observational, by the way, in the Netherlands, right? People in general in the Netherlands, they are both healthier and skinnier. Isn't that the case? Haven't you observed that?
Yes, I agree. I have observed that, but I also observed that I could walk across the city of Amsterdam in like one afternoon from end to end. I definitely could not do that in any city in Florida.
Well, I agree, because we made it car-centric. I agree. I couldn't agree with you more. This is why it would be a gradual move to moving towards people-centric systems, and gradually people would need to travel less and less.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I see that as a possibility for the United States.
I think so. I mean, again, people for starters, people don't travel from city to city. Not typically, not their everyday commute. Typically, people are within 15 miles of where they currently are, and they will drive to their work, A and B, and they go to the grocery store and they go to the park and do something once in a while. And I think if you change the zoning laws where commercial can be mixed in with residential, then people would just in general have to drive less. Some people would then, because everything is infrastructure towards bike, people would just end up choosing a bike. And because everything is closer, you wouldn't need to go to the other side of Jacksonville. You can just be in one specific area, and it would be more condensed, and it would result in better taxes being collected as well.
Okay, so don't you think that people choose like right now that's an option, right? People can live in like downtown areas if they want to, and live that kind of lifestyle, right? And people choose the suburbs because they want to have the extra space, and they don't mind not carpooling, but like driving 40 minutes to work. You know, by living in the suburbs, they extend their drive and everything.
Well, I mean, to be fair, right? The areas
there's still be demand.
The areas are so. The areas you're talking about are in so high demand. People would really, really want to live there that it literally ends up costing more to live there because people like it there. And the solution is more places should be like that. So that way it's not more expensive.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Well, okay, so let me ask you this then, is what, in your ideal world, like with the U.S. immigration policy, and we're talking about immigration reform, and let's say we get rid of all the crappy laws that make it really difficult to apply, right? And we make a pathway for citizenship easier to attain. How many immigrants would you like to see come into the country every year? And this may be way too crazy to question because there's just so many variables that could contribute to this. But I have an opinion on it, which is why I'm asking. I can tell you my opinion. But also, and how would you select the immigrants? Because that's also something I have an opinion on.
Me, because of my infrastructure plan, it's effectively indefinite. somebody would have to empirically show me how it is not sustainable. It would have to be like, oh man, the earth can't sustain this many people, you know? But that's a completely different discussion to like, all right, well, where do we get our lumber? Can we go to Canada? What do we got to do? Is there a sustainable way to approach that? You know what I mean? Like I would just have strong infrastructure and projects actually created, so that way people live in plenty. They don't have to, you know, we would produce things here.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, it's so far in like
in the future.
Fairyland.
No, it's not fairyland. No, wait, we did this in the past. We did it with the GI Bill. It worked. It worked.
But we are so far,
it created so many middle class people. People were so happy. We created giant infrastructure plans to building suburbs and building affordable housing, and it worked. It did work, right? We made something. You know, we could do it again. This is totally doable. You don't think it's doable? It's too fairy tale?
No, I don't.
Oh my!
Yeah,
goodness.
I think it is way too fairy tale. I mean, first of all, right now, right? Like if you take a suburb, what's a city you know really well in Florida?
Huh?
Is there a city? Do you know a city really well in Florida?
Really well?
Yeah, like Orlando, Tampa, Jack.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm gonna
So
abstain.
So all those cities, right? They have these really dense, populated suburban areas that surround the outside of them,
Mm-hmm.
right? And those suburban areas, they go on for miles and miles and miles. Like there's one in East Orlando that you start driving into it, and the person who lives on the back side of it, of that suburban area, it takes like 30 to 40 minutes just to get to the highway, right? You're just driving past stop signs and houses, right? There is no world in which that place could change, or the people there are willing to change, let alone in 20 years. And then when you're talking about like this funding for this is funding that will never pass within our lifetime. You know what I mean?
Listen, we passed. We were successful in passing the largest infrastructure plan in United States history. And also, my plan would actually pay off in dividends because of the amount of money that would be garnered in property taxes and additional labor. And this we know already works through current well-known post-Keynesian strategies, economic strategies. We know that they work. And this had been done across European nations, and it can be done in the United States. I don't think it's as fairy tale as you say it is.
So, I mean, would you be talking about changing these suburban areas or revamping, or taking?
No, I would never, like, the only way eminent domain would be potentially used. I know you didn't say eminent domain, but I'm sure somebody might think, okay, they're probably thinking eminent domain, right, on to making, I don't know, but here's what I would basically do. I would enable that commercial places can buy residences and make things like restaurants or things that people want to walk to enjoy, right? And mind you, right, this is not industrial, right? No coal plants or any crazy stuff like that, things that people don't want to live next to. But open the floodgates to that for number one. Allow that the purchase is possible. And then if anybody wants to sell their home to people who want to make restaurants or whatever, they could do so, right? Those homes would effectively be demolished, and then you would see mixed use homes, such as a home underneath a bar that is underneath a house, right? Perfect example. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. I still think it's just so radical. It's almost radical.
You need radical change to fix what's going on.
I'm with you. I think we do need radical change. I mean, that's the tough part, right? Is because when you're talking about things that actually need to happen in this country, it is going to require radical change for us to fix ourselves. And I don't. That's one reason why I'm a little pessimistic on the future of our country, because I don't think that any of this radical change will happen.
Yeah, no, I
specifically
agree.
with like for example, our budget alone. You know, like one thing that I really lost faith on is is the Democrats. This is going back, so you probably want to remember this, but like the Democrats had a spending bill, and then Trump took office, and then they basically used the same spending bill as the Democrats did, and then they pretended like it was their own,
Yeah.
and then the Democrats pretended like it was Republicans, and like it was basically like, but it was the exact same spending bill, and it was all proving that they don't care about us at all, that
Yeah.
both parties literally hate us, and that they both are willing to lie. And they're basically in cahoots with each other, lying to us.
So I
about spending.
should let you know that,
Yeah.
like, if you're talking about the level of blame that I have, what I've observed is like, okay, we've got some blame to be placed on Democrats for their level of inaction, and we've got Republicans to blame for their action. So like a good example of this is like, you can like Google like, you know, what I brought up in my video, capital interest, how that was introduced, how that got passed. You know, that was passed by Republicans based on trickle-down economic ideas. Obviously, they didn't garner the, you know, the wonderful sets of jobs and this huge growth, but it just basically made the rich richer and the middle class erode away. And Democrats for decades have been wanting to close this tax incentive, and they just were completely unsuccessful in every step. They just got stopped at every step. And it's mostly Republicans, as well as a minority of Democrats that are in the pockets of billionaires.
So I mean, I just inherently disagree with that, right? Because the reason I disagree is because,
you should Google this. I'm not making it up.
I agree with what you're saying about like the taxes and stuff. I agree with that. But I don't agree that the Democrats, I don't believe the Democrats wanted to change anything. I also don't believe
I completely disagree. I've read so many, you should read books from both Republican politicians and Democrat politicians. I've done so much reading on all of these people. They are more human than you believe. They unironically and genuinely believe in the things that they say they believe in. It's very... they are regular people, believe it or not, right? It's not like these faceless billionaires addicted to greed and wealth and excess. It's people that they believe in what they like. The Republicans believe in what they fight for, and so do the Democrats. And it would behoove you to pick up and read a book by Nancy Pelosi, a book by George Soros, by people that everybody seems to hate, and pick up the Ron DeSantis book and pick up the Kristi Noem book. I'm telling you, dude, these are much more human than you think, much more human than the billionaires. I promise you that.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're right. I mean, I've read a couple. I don't know. I've read like some French politician books, but like no one established, you know. But I don't know. Maybe I am biased. You might be right about that. But I don't believe all the politicians. Like Ro Khanna, you know, I think is like a legit dude. I think he believes everything he says. I think. But I don't know. I definitely think that there are, and I do. Well, this is also part of the problem. Is I think that people believe that they are out there, like they're public servants, but I think that ultimately they're serving themselves. They don't have the spine to like say no to their past. Like for example, one reason why I don't buy that Democrats aren't in the billionaire talk and Republicans are is because why did Kamala Harris have so much campaign money while Trump had so little? Like why was Kamala Harris's campaign money?
Well, it was hundreds. It was roughly about the same, but yes, Kamala Harris was successful in garnering a lot of money pushed forward. But you should really look this up. It is mostly through community-centric positions, right? Very anti-Trump positions, whereas Donald Trump was like a very small group of people, very, very wealthy, often creating their own super PACs to donate hundreds of millions of dollars to. You could look this up on
Yeah, so, I mean-
opensecrets.org. Like these super PACs exist, and you could see them for yourself.
Well, so the super PACs are made up of billionaires and technology firms, right?
Super PACs are made
I mean,
is a body that it is a legal way for groups of people to get together and work together to make to raise money for a particular candidate. There's a lot of super PACs that unironically actually donate to both Democrats and Republicans. And there are super PACs that donate exclusively to Democrats, and there are super PACs that donate exclusively to Republicans. But just FYI, you should be aware that, I mean, I'm not in favor of any of these super PACs. We should pull money out of politics as much as possible. And this is just an example of like just corruption that I see it's very negative.
Right, I'm with you.
Did you have anything else for me?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to keep going. My bad.
No.
Oh, I was just going to say that, like, I just disagree completely with, like, the idea that that complete immigration needs to come in. Like, I think that it needs to be a regulated thing. Like, I think immigration should be a tool that our country uses to basically bring more people in the labor market. I think we need to get rid of the illegal labor market that's happening within the country with, like, Hispanic immigrants. I think that that people need to go to jail for like a long time. Like, I don't understand why they don't crack down on it. Well, I do know why. It's because it would absolutely destroy our food.
I think it's make it simple but understandable. Right. Simple and understandable is would result in less illegal immigrants, much less.
Right, but I also think that, like, there is always going to be a higher demand for immigration into this country than what we can supply, unless we do your
infrastructure project.
One thing.
Yeah, infrastructure, big time. Oh, dude, it would be so base. God, we have such a big booming economy, dude. We'd be so successful, and there'd be so many fucking unions. People would be living these. Bro, you would be seeing 1950 come back without the racism.
All right, well, I'll let
There'd be regular people, tons of babies, and tons of people living good lives, and we'd be grilling out back. Oh yeah, it'd be the life. Everybody.
But before I let you go, let me push back on one aspect of that. Do you see any issue? And I know you're going to say no because you're woke and everything, but do you see any issue with the immigrant population exceeding the natural-born citizen population?
Not at all. Not at all. I have no ties to my race. I don't find value.
It's not a race issue.
Well, I'm saying, like, immigrants superseding white people or whatever. I see nothing inherent about white people and brown people as something better or worse. I think it's socioeconomic conditions that result in the differences you observe.
Yeah. Well, I think it's troubling that you view immigrants as brown people and not also possibly white people.
Well, I mean, it would include white people inherently. I'm just saying it's mostly brown people. Right. I mean, that is the case.
Well, I actually think that is a little bit of a problem, not with the brown people thing, but the fact that most of our immigrants are coming from South America just because they have a geographical advantage, right? Like, we do have policy. This is one thing that I would actually change, that we do have policy that does do diversity immigration, but we end up getting so few immigrants from Africa and from mostly Africa that we have I can't remember the stats on it, but like we only give out like 50,000. We give out most of our immigrants come from familial ties, and so that ends up mostly being white and Hispanic. So our white Hispanic population. Not that I'm talking outside of race, but like I'm just grouping it all together because it's like, you know what I mean when I say that. Like our South American familial ties and our European familial ties end up being most of our immigrants, and I think that like our country would benefit from like a higher geographical diversification because it's really just the fact that people can walk versus they can't take a plane or a boat. You know.
Okay. Yeah, probably. Sure.
Do you disagree or agree with that?
I mean, it makes sense.
All right, I'll let you go then.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the call. I forgot. I'm not sure if I asked already. I probably did. I'm going to ask one more time.
Yeah.
Are you subscribed?
I am subscribed. I'm sorry I couldn't find more disagreement. I thought we would hate each other.
Really? Why would we hate each other?
I tried. I know. I tried. I tried to tell the things that you would hate me for or something. I don't know.
Why?
I'll try to get a better topic next time.
Okay. You got to talk about the trans topic. You got to fight me on the trans.
I'll go off on the trans thing right now. I don't care.
Oh,
it doesn't matter. It's a fringe population. It doesn't matter. I don't get it. I've never met a trans person. I probably never will.
You never met a trans person? Oh, they're around.
No. That's what the internet's trying to tell me, but I've yet to meet them.
You have yet to meet them? They're there. They exist.
Allegedly, they say that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we can argue about.
Some say I'm
argue
trans.
about the million people that we let in.
Do you believe?
Are you trans?
Do you believe the conspiracy that I'm born female?
I do not believe that. But if it is true, then I would have met my first trans person via the internet, which still makes you not real because you're through my computer screen. Are you trans?
Right.
Did I meet my first trans person?
I'm gonna just make this like a conspiracy for everyone to I'm gonna gaslight everybody into this.
Someone said, "Okay, caller, start Coke." All right, I'll go up on trans. All right, here we go.
No, we're done. We're done.
Exist.
We're already 10 minutes. We're 10 minutes past close. But I appreciate you calling, Dylan. Thank you very much. This was a very fun conversation. Thank you.
All right. See you.
Bye-bye. All right, everybody. So, AWOL, you're going to get the timestamps. So I apologize. I know everyone is calling me, but sadly, the show must end. We got all sorts of people who are talking. They all want to join in. So here's the thing. I know I haven't gotten to your calls. I haven't gotten to everybody's calls, but relax. Worry not. Do not fret, because all you got to do is subscribe. I also have a notification server, okay? This is not where you want to talk to me because there is no VC, but it is a notification server for if you want to be notified when I am next streaming. So here's the notification server. Notification server link. It's right there. Okay. That's the notification server link. So if you want to be notified when I'm streaming next, that's when. Also, another way to do is that you can subscribe. Subscribing, 100%. I would love it if you subscribed. If you like what I say, if you hate what I say, and you just want to hate watch me, you are welcome to do so. In fact, I would love to talk to you. As long as you're cordial, we can have the disagreement. And honestly, as long as you're like not a Nazi racist, I can't listen. I have a very low toleration for you. But if you disagree with me, agree with me, whatever, consider subscribing. I'm a very small YouTuber, so even the tiniest amount, 1 subscriber is like, woo, that's wonderful. I get so happy with that. So I'm so sorry that I did not get to all the chats, but we will continue. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope we have a great time. And so I will see you next Thursday. It's Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you will likely see me again, likely during the weekend. I do impromptu debates. It's basically whenever I feel like it, or whenever I'm not tired as hell and drunk and, I don't know. Hell, sometimes I'll even do it hungover. My God, I torture myself with this. Okay. Thank you all very much. We're going to end the stage. Thank you all for joining. I appreciate y'all very much. Have a great day. And we're going to go ahead and end the stream itself. Have a great day, y'all. Thank you very much.